Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this Saturday, July 17th, to the 807th episode of the Dave's Gone By. See, there's the 8, there's the giant 0 that is my head, and 7. 807th episode of...
next to 808, which is like 8 and 8.
Oh my God! Joyce is reminding me that we're one episode away from a terrifying milestone. And that is, if you're a long-time viewer of the show of Dave's Gone By, you'll know that we've been doing Greeley Crimes in Old Times for probably 6 or 7 years now. And in Greeley Crimes in Old Times, which we will do on this episode, one of the key factors is that every once in a while, when they have a story in the Greeley Tribune, and that's what that segment will be about. It's stories that come out of the Greeley Tribune newspaper in Colorado, of ridiculous phone calls that come into the police department. And there's a vortex. There's a Bermuda-esque triangle. If there's a Bermuda, Colorado, it would be a Bermuda, Colorado triangle of all the weird things. It's like, where did that spaceship supposedly crash land?
Oh, Area 60...
51 or something like that?
60
Yeah. Sure.
Area 60 something.
Yeah, something like that. You're exactly it, right?
I'll Google it.
The northern Colorado version of Area 51 is the intersection, the junction, if you will, of 8th Avenue and 8th Street. 8th and 8th, we call it. And this is where, when we were living there, we were at 8th and 8th all the time.
When I typed where do spaceships land on Earth, it's talking about those millionaires who just went
into space. When Joyce says spaceships on Earth, she sees Jeff Bezos and the Virgin Atlantic guy. But 8th and 8th, man, something happened. All the homeless, all the weirdos, the people who are walking around naked and screaming at society, on some level, they eventually converge on 8th Avenue and 8th Street in Greeley, Colorado. So this episode is not that vortex. This is not the one where suddenly we're like that cult leader with the sneakers who takes everyone up to Valhalla at the end of things. This is only 807. But when we hit 8th and 8th next week, oh boy, watch out.
I'm scared.
So this is just 807. This is just a pretty, fairly typical and hopefully wonderful episode of this program, which is a mix of humor and talk and culture, hosted by me, Dave Lefkowitz, helped by my darling, adorable, and wonderful wife, Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
I'm trying to make your window big, and it can't come
She's trying to make my window big.
And it won't come out.
I'm not even going to go there because I'm not even going to go there. Because I'm not even going to go there.
Click on your video and you come big, but you won't come big.
Joyce is saying I won't come big. Should have seen me 30 years ago. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to be on this episode of Dave's Gone By? Couple of things. First of all, we will have our Greeley Crimes Old Times segment. Also, we will have a bit of time for me to go off about my air fryer. I don't think we talked about this last week, did we? We did not get a chance last week to talk about the air fryer that we bought 3 weeks ago and that we've actually been using. And I will let you know. No, I didn't, because I'm paying it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the air fryer in a little while. We will also have our weekly Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And honestly, we missed it last week, because just as we were finishing the show last week, my wife's parents had a bit of a very, very minor accident, but we didn't know that it was an accident or minor at the time. It's like, I'm doing the show, I'm getting ready to do Greeley Crimes in All Times, and Joyce comes in like with
Let me just show you.
Yeah.
I normally click on this to make the video. It won't make the video big.
But am I rolling? Am I videoing?
But it won't. Like normally, if I click on this, I can invite people and.
Who knows? Can you refresh and maybe get out?
Look.
There I am.
Yeah.
There I am. I see. We're so close to 808 that the magic is starting to happen. But last week, her parents. This happens. It happens with people of any age. But her parents are getting up there. They're going into a cab, And for no particular reason, the cab driver kind of pulls slightly away as they're trying to get in the vehicle. And so as they're reaching for the door, the cab jerks forward. They both fall down in the street. And so she's terrified. She comes into the room. She's like, Dave, I don't know, my parents have to go to the hospital. I'm like, oh, she said, what? Turns out, absolutely fine, her dad, who has new knees. If you're going to fall, as she says, it's good to have new knees. So his knees were fine. He's fine. Her mom rolled her ankle a bit. So she was worried that there might be like a hairline fracture or some kind of hematoma. Well, there was a hematoma, but it was purple and bruisedy and eggplanty. And at first, it was nothing. This happens. When I hurt my foot many, many, many years ago in Los Angeles, coming down a hill, of all things. I was okay. I didn't walk on it very well for a bit, but I was all right. And it wasn't until 5 hours later that my bottom of my leg went from this to swelling up like this. And it's like, okay, we'll get you to the ER. Because they didn't have urgent cares back then. And they x-rayed it, and $1,400 later, I was like, no, it's not a break. We can give you a shot, but you don't like shots, so just go home and nurse it, which I did. So thank God, last week, if you notice, we go back and watch last week's episode at davesgoneby.com, and you go to like the last 10, 15 minutes, you'll see, it's sort of like I go from like, to, gotta finish the show. But that's why. But most important thing is everybody's fine, and how's your mom walking?
Good. She's got the X-ray report she read to me.
Yeah.
She's a nerve. The bruises turn colors, but she's fine, thank God.
Yeah, everything is okay. I'm hoping that, considering the year that we've had, nobody collapses, dies, falls, gets leprosy during the course of this 3.5 hour program. I'm hoping.
I'm half awake, David, so everything's up for grabs. I don't know where my noisemakers are.
They're over there. I'm over by the radiator. They're on there, right there. Anyway, so speaking of good weeks and bad, all right. Let me finish telling you what is going to be on the show, and then I'll tell you about one of the better weeks that I've had in a very long time.
Colin Potato thinks you have the virus.
And the week, if you thought the week was going to be good, right? And unfortunately, it ends today because tomorrow starts next week, and who knows what can happen. But this was the crowning thing on what was a good week, even until then. Fair enough. Okay, so also on this program today, we have a very special guest. We have a dancer, or kind of a former dancer, who's turned author over the past few years, and she's having success in kind of the gothic romance humor. I'm sorry?
What kind of dance did she do?
I think it was more like ballet-y. Yeah, ballet/modern dance.
Did you meet her, like through your festival?
I think it was like NYU years and years and years ago. Like, I'm literally talking like 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
And just so she's been writing now for, I guess, probably the last decade, and getting published and getting her, because she has a tremendously eclectic resume, which included being a theater critic for a while and being a journalistic kind of writer, and apparently she's a black belt, as well as now a writer of exactly books like her recent book, The Lonely Vampire, which ironically did not suck. Okay, a little joke there, and a new one coming out called, and I don't want to get this wrong, I think it's called Gotham Kitty. All right, and there's another one that also has an. Gotham Kitty is the one, and a book called Never Dead.
She likes that genre. Remember we saw that play where they all became zombie attacks and then they were killed different ways?
Right. Yeah, that was. Oh, I know. They did a play version
Yes.
deconstructing
Yes.
Night of the Living Dead.
And then every time somebody that had a different outcome, but they all died.
Yeah, it was a very clever idea. Well, either she's into that genre or she knows that genre sells.
Yeah,
One
but
or
she
the
has
other.
to like it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a writer, we both know you can't write what you don't like.
True.
If you do, it's not going to sell.
It's not going to work for you, or you're going to have a miserable life. So I think she's enjoying her life.
I understand that. That's a weird, like...
It's not my, not our genre.
If
but
you don't understand it, you can't write about it.
No, I'm sure she understands it. She probably really digs it. So she's written like Never Dead, The Lonely Vampire, and hey, Gotham Kitty could be something completely different. I don't know.
I think it's...
Not Gothic Kitty, Gotham Kitty.
Yeah, but Gotham is like slang for like a decaying city.
Or the Batman era, sort of.
It's like Gotham is like if you say Gotham, it's not a compliment about a city, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like
It's a daily newsy sort of word for New York, though. I don't know. We'll find out, because Rabbi Saul Solomon is going to be chatting with Ann Greyson, which is why we're calling this episode Amazing Grace. Get it? Greyson? This is the humor. This is why people tune in to see my play. There you go. That's what I've been really leading to for the past 12 minutes. Yeah. So here's the deal. Here's why this was one of the better weeks of old Dave's existence on this planet, or certainly in recent times. So as I've been telling you for weeks and weeks and weeks, my one-act comedy called Restoration Playhouse was first a finalist and then a winner in Red Bull Theater Company's Short New Play Festival. They do one every year. This particular year was virtual because they still couldn't really plan to be in person at this point during the pandemic. So they knew it was going to be virtual, but they have it every year. And I've been submitting almost every year for like a decade. And every year I get either no response or the letter back, thank you so much for submitting. Here are the winners. You're not one of them. Okay, go away.
Do you recall some of the themes you submitted in the past?
Sure. Well, I had one play that was apparently a finalist. I didn't make it to the top tier. A play called Special Ed, Special OED, Special Ed, which was a complete thing. Yes, a complete mockery of Oedipus Rex, where he goes around. I haven't read it in a while, but at some point he realizes he's made a terrible mistake, and he's ordering everybody around him to find his eyes.
Oh, no.
I found it really funny. So, and at some point somebody goes squish, But
where were they?
well, then he plucks them out.
I know that.
He throws them on the ground, and one person finds it, but another person steps on his eye. So there's that one, and then another play that I wish they had done is called Who We Are and What We Did, which has to do with cave people. No, I love this idea. And I thought it was a nice little play. Well, I wouldn't have written it by anything. It was a lovely idea.
That's why I told you have to love what you write.
Yeah. But, that one didn't win.
Yeah, but you loved it.
Didn't even become a finalist. I think it's great. It's these cave people, these two guys who have to sort through all the detritus of their lives in cavehood and pick out what's going to go in what they call the memory house, but it's actually the early idea for a museum. It's sort of like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's very deep, honey.
So they have to go through each, this bone, this arrow, this plate of food. Does it go into the memory house or is it garbage? And they have a, in some ways it follows the pattern of Restoration Playhouse. There's
David,
a chief.
That's like you because you're a hoarder, so it's probably based on your...
It's based on what do I keep, what do I jettison, what will have emotional resonance or historical value when we're gone. I like that play a lot. It's called Who We Are and What We Did. And by the way,
Actually, that's DMX's song, Who We Be.
Who We Be, What We Did. Biz Markie died.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You say she's just a friend. Because you say she's just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need.
He sang it just like that. It was kind of cool. But, and by the way, I mentioned these plays, Special Ed, Who We Are and What We Did, Restoration Playhouse. If you want to read any or all of them, just go to davelefkowitz.org.
Or if you want to see it, let me see if you're still... I have to open a new Facebook because I'm inviting people.
Well, those other two plays, and there's one or two others that I wrote in the hopes of getting them done in this festival by the Red Bull Theater Company.
Let me
None of them
Let me see if you're still up, though.
until this year won or anything happened. But I knew, as I mentioned, I knew when I wrote this one that it was right. Didn't mean that it was going to win, but I'm like, if I ever had a chance of getting into the festival this year, it's this year. Restoration Playhouse has to do with restoring the theater after your pandemic.
Honey, you're still up.
Excellent.
Let me see if I can see how many views you have.
Sure. At the moment, I'll explain how many views, and then I'll explain what you're doing there.
But it won't. I can't click on it.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry. It was like 3,800 last time we looked, like a half hour ago, because I check obsessively. So it's about restoring, because it's a comedy about these artistic director and stage manager of a tiny little off Broadway theater, as I've told you a million times. And now they've gotten word from Governor Cuomo's office that they can reopen, albeit with only like 8 people in a very distanced way. And so they don't know what to do first. Do they call this and that? They want to call their patron, so they have the money to go forward. They want to call they want to take a call from the critic and theater journalist from Variety who wants to put them in a story
Some of the
if...
names, which are very funny. I like the names. They're juicy.
You like the what? It's juicy?
The names are
Oh, the
juicy.
names of the characters.
So it's like the names are telling of the personality, right? So like, Mr. Tightwad would be cheap, or Mrs.
Right.
Mrs. Flowers would be very,
Well, Opula Prosperous is the
yes.
name of the rich
the
dowager.
donor, like opulent and prosperity, right?
Right.
So that's her the Greek. You're Greekitizing her stuff, right?
And the landlord's name is Avarice Fuckwar,
Avarice,
which plays also on Farquhar. Okay, so...
7 Deadly Sins.
Hmm.
Avarice is just one of the 7.
Except nobody's really a villain, by the way. The landlord is kind of a minory villain, but they all love the theater.
Make fun of him because he likes Tony and Tina's wife.
Yeah, I do make fun of that. So,
He doesn't.
And here's the deal. So they have to deal with all these people who love the theater but want the theater to do a certain thing when theater comes back and when they're allowed to start doing plays again. Here's the plays you should do. No, you should do this kind of play. No, you should. That kind of theater is old. You need to be very BIPOC and
make money.
right.
That's the landlord.
So that's the play. It's like 10 minutes long because there's a 10-minute festival.
What's
Yeah.
The woman is the theater director, right? What's her name? Artistic.
Dory Fopler. Yeah.
No, not the critic.
No, Dory Fopler. Because when I envisioned the character, I thought he'd be more of a foppish sort of thing. That's not the way they
not the woman.
play
But
it.
what I love is she's trying to appease everybody she's working with and also solicit money from a donor.
Yes.
And she's, and the fact that they almost won like an NEA grant, she's like, we almost had, but it's too real. Like in some ways it's too real.
Well,
like that's the real, like, where you have, and then they have, like, tell them the line about the seats, that they have to quarantine, they have 30-seat theater,
but because of Cuomo's edict. I mean, I wrote this play more than half a year ago. So at that point, there was still the idea that when theater would open, whether Broadway or off, they wouldn't just have capacity. The possibility was, we can open our doors, but only 25% capacity and 50 and 75 and so forth. So this is a 30-seat theater. They get word they can open with 25% capacity. As one character says, well, that's 8 people or 7 with one's head cut off.
No,
or 7 people or 8 if you cut one's head off, read the play. It's funnier there. So...
Or see the play. It's on the
yes, yes. But so anyway, I know when I write this play, it's the motto of the whole festival is restoration. They always give you a word or an idea for the Red Bull Annual Short Play Festival to, they want plays that the theater itself goes for classics. They do Shakespearean era things. They do Restoration era, maybe dipping a little bit into kind of Ibsen, Strindberg era, but generally not. So classics, and the Greeks and so forth, Jacobeans. So that's in your head, and they have the word restoration. So instantly, okay, restoration comedy, restoring after theater's been gone during the pandemic. I ticked all the boxes. And I knew it when I was writing it. It almost wrote itself, even though it's in rhymed comical verse. I have a facility for that. I've done it before. And so I finished the thing. I edited it, revised it pretty quickly, and I was like, yep, off to. And if they don't put this one at least as a finalist, I'm just hanging up my my typewriter. I'm gonna hang up my computer and become a painter or something like that.
I think that it's beautiful and it did you well, and you got a lot of love in the chat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
The chat.
people posted wonderful things.
Yeah.
I got very nice, not reviews. I got one review. And when I say I mean the festival itself. I couldn't find only one actual printed review, which was a little disappointing because all these papers and newspapers have been from all over the country, have been going on and watching these digital virtual things and reviewing them because there hasn't been theater.
Maybe you can't because it's to raise money, because it's a charity.
No. They got, because it was a benefit. No, they review benefits. They do that. When the Roundabout does something or something, they generally do. But whatever. The guy who did do a review, I don't have his name here, but thank you very much. He gave me a lot of ink and said some nice things about my play. So yay, thank you.
I'm searching now and I don't see any more, Davey.
Yeah, no, there's just that one.
There's write-up.
Hmm?
There's write-up about announcing it or.
Yeah, we got not a lot, but we got several promo pieces before it happened. So Theater Mania, of course, Playbill did, Broadway World, thank you very much. The New York Times, my name was in the New York Times on Friday. All of us were down way at the bottom of the article.
Yeah, I don't.
Of just here are digital things to watch over the next week, and way down, like third to last, was the Red Bull Theater Company. They didn't even mention the names of the plays, but they listed the playwrights. So thank you very much. That was our friend Elizabeth Vincentelli wrote the article.
Oh
so,
wow, how's she doing?
Yeah, I guess she's fine. She's writing theater-related articles and at pretty soon reviews for the Times.
That's great.
So that's all great. And went through. I guess I'll talk more about this later because our guest is coming up in just a couple of minutes. But we go through rehearsal. Last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Probably Thursday. We had rehearsal, and it went really, really well. The director, Timothy Douglas, just has this kind of...
he was awesome.
Yeah. This incredible equanimity, this kind of quietness, this gentleness to him. Remind me a little bit of... remember at the O'Neill Center, I'm forgetting his name, but the guy who kind of ran the play side of things, the black fellow who directed those August Wilson plays. I am forgetting his name, but he had that. I mean, it didn't mean that they never lost his temper or anything like that, but he just kind of floated in a way.
Well, you know what I like about him? Like, you have to be really confident. Like, the other director, she gave her people notes in, like, email and text. Like, that's more passive. This guy, they're like, during rehearsal, do you have any notes? He's like, yeah, let me just take 5 minutes. He's like, do you do the... And he went through it. Like, you have to be... Because he teaches, he's also, like we are, he's an academic. But the idea that to give constructive criticism that's not mean but constructive live, you have to be with it and on it. Like,
all directors do that in person.
No, but I thought it was great. I was very impressed with the way that he I mean, it's a director quality, but he so quickly analyzed what the problems were and fixed them.
Yeah.
And then the actors addressed that within like an hour. They finished, and there was like less than about 60 or 90 minutes until they went live.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard...
Well, that was the tech rehearsal. That you saw the tech rehearsal on Monday.
That's like... And then how do you correct stuff within like...
I know.
That you've been practicing probably for a week or two.
And let's also give a little credit. So here's the deal. I don't think you can watch the entire festival anymore. It was supposed to be up just for 3 or 4 days because equity rules. You can't have equity actors. They make a deal with theaters like this where the theater says, we want to do this, that, and the other, but we have union directors, a couple of union actors, so, and we can't pay them remotely close to union scale. We couldn't do it. So equity says, all right, we'll allow you to do this much and not pay the actors or pay them a little stipend and so forth. However, you can't run this perpetually. You can't take this video and do X, Y, and Z with it. You can't. So if you follow these rules, we'll let you use these people for free or for a minimal fraction of what you'd normally have to give these people, and give them rights in perpetuity. And so if it ever showed up on HBO, suddenly they would need none of that. So equity's like, you can run the show for a couple of days, then it has to be taken down from your website. It's not for commercial purposes.
Who is equity? Do we know?
Actors Equity.
No, no. I know what it is.
I don't know.
Who is?
I won't be shocked if both directors are at least in the Stage Directors and Choreographers Union, if not Equity themselves, because Timothy's an actor.
I understand.
Yeah. And Timothy directed like 3 or 4 of the plays on the slate. Margot Bordelon did the others. Timothy was
Well, tell
mine.
them about the last minute substitution with me.
Yeah. So that was one of the other things I saw the rehearsal on Thursday, and was thrilled. And speaking of Timothy's talent as a director, there was an actor there, and he was doing well, but his character was very one note. He was playing the landlord, and it was kind of sort of sour and this, and he didn't change the whole thing. It was kind of okay, and he just gave it one. He said, "Remember, you do like the theater. You just have a certain idea about the theater, and try this and think of this." And literally, the next reading that he did, 5 minutes later, the actor was 100% better. And I was like, oh, we're good. We're gold.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we lost that actor because Zach Appleman got a TV gig where he had to fly out that weekend. So I'm all set. I'm very confident. I know it's going to be a great show. Weekend goes by. Monday we're there for tech.
People, you do not like change at all. Like your name is like, I hate change, David.
Yeah, and then Monday I get there and I'm like, wait, aren't we missing someone? And Timothy's like, yeah.
Isn't it Nate? Isn't his name?
Timothy Douglas is the director.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Zach Appleman. And he's the one actor I'm mentioning, and he wasn't in my damn show because he got called for a pilot. Yeah.
Who covered Nate, right?
Well, that's the thing. The associate artistic director of the theater, Nathan Winkelstein, there's another name I'll remember, Nathan Winkelstein, he ended up subbing for that actor who was not just in my show, he was in a couple of others, and Nathan did a great job. He was absolutely fine in the part.
I can't believe he filled in. That's so hard.
And he filled in, like, within the last, over a weekend, he had to learn. It was a reading, he didn't have to memorize.
So he was in a couple plays that had end rhyme, and like, the narcissistic one, he was the lead.
Remember, this is a guy who also has to co-run the theater.
He's doing he reminded me of Moriarty when he did those.
Moriarty from the Sherlock series. Yeah, he had sort of that
he's
feeling.
Like one of my faves. Yeah.
So I will tell more because there's more to say. But I've got to get someone else, 2 other people in the show right now.
The quiz.
No, well, the quiz following. Oh, I forgot to mention the Today Yesterday History quiz with David Sheward and Leslie Hoban Blake, and our guest who is waiting patiently to come on to the show. Her name is Ann Greyson. She will not, alas, be talking to moi. She will, however, be talking to the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sal Solomon. We haven't even played our intro yet. So while I start officially the show, the next person you will see is going to be real Jewish, talking to Ann Greyson. Welcome to Dave's Gone By.
Good morning. There goes the Daverhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
Yeah, David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island Hearts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is our old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled. We have a Zoom call. Hello. Wait.
Someone's on the Zoom, Rabbi.
There's a person on the Zoom. Hello, Zoom person. Shalom. We are going to be talking to an authoress and a danceress. Her name is Greyson, Ann Greyson. She's been writing books like The Lonely Vampire, and Gotham Kitty, and Never Dead, which is frightening. Plus, let's see what else. She has a black belt. She probably also has a brown belt and a green belt, depending on her outfit. I have a white tallis as well as my red one. But ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome to the Daverhood, Shalom, Ann Greyson. How are you, Ann? Wait, are you still? I think you're muted. You gotta unmute yourself there. Hold on. Unmute, please. Yeah. There you go. Shalom. How you doing?
Shalom to you. You do hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Shalom.
Oh,
I've never heard it. Shalom. You're not Jewish, are you?
I said it wrong. No, I'm not.
What are you? Well, you're probably atheist, but what?
No, I'm liberal Catholic. But I know lots of Jewish people like you, so I think it's wonderful.
That's horrifying. You know lots of Jewish people like me. I don't even want to know Jewish people like me. That's a scary, scary thing. How are you? How did you come through the pandemicus?
Very well. I'm glad not to be wearing a mask. It's just great to see people not wearing masks around here.
And you're in New York now. Because you were in like Baltimore for a long time, but now you're back in New York in Byron's, and so you're seeing people being people again and living life again, as it were, even unmasked.
It's great.
So, but how was were you a very indoorsy people? Did it help you write more because you had nothing else to do, so you added an extra 2 hours a day to your writing time? Or, how was the pandemic for you as a writer?
Well, I was indoors, like you said, and I was writing, and I wouldn't go out too much because they said you couldn't. I didn't go through a lockdown situation because I don't remember them really doing too much of that in Maryland. Like, I think New York was more serious about coronavirus and more people, especially in the city. Yeah.
So tell us. Here's the deal. You started, I think, back in the day. You were going to be an actress dancer. Is that correct? That was your speed. That was where you were at. You were at NYU for a bit, or not? Or why am I thinking?
I hung out there, but I didn't really take classes. But I hung out with people who went there.
Okay. So how was it? Because you spent several years doing dance with Dance Baltimore, and you were in some series. So it was ballet-ish kind of. What kind of dance were you doing?
Originally, it was ballet when I first came to New York. That was really all I wanted to do was ballet. And then I did get into acting school after I graduated high school, American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Mm.
And you know the school is wonderful. I only did one semester though.
Why?
One semester only. I didn't like it much because I really was doing it so I could perform, like Broadway shows. Like if I do acting, it would be just so I could dance and sing. So I didn't really like the teachings too much. I thought it was a bit odd. The movement wasn't real dance. They made me take a speech class. They said I had a bit of a Southern accent because I'd lived in Atlanta, Georgia before, and I didn't think I had any accent. So it was the classes were so serious acting, and I was coming out of ballet, and I just wasn't ready for that. So I did one semester, made the best of it, but I didn't return.
But then you found ways to go and dance. So you found a home eventually in Dance Baltimore, but did it take some time to do that?
You know what? I took a time off from dancing. I did some production work in theater production.
Right.
Where I came across Dave Lefkowitz when I was doing theater many, many years ago. And I did do a little bit of acting, but I wasn't too serious about the acting. I always liked the dancing a little bit more. But now I'm open to all things.
Why do you still? I mean, I'm sure you still, but do you dance at all, professionally, semi-professionally, or you just do it to keep limber, as it were, or what?
Well, now it would be to keep limber, but I would say in the past, semi-professional in the past. Now, and then how can I have time with the writing of the books?
Well, of
It was
course,
fun.
but we will get to books. But let me ask you: in dancing, do you have those things like Fosse dancers have, where you've got bone spurs in your heel, and this doesn't work, and that because you've worn these shoes that cripple your toes, and you move in weird ways, or has it kept you more healthy and more limber than people our age-ish?
I
Or
think
both?
it's kept me healthy. I haven't had any problems at all. In all of my dancing, no injuries. Um, lots of fun, and I feel it's just great for my health, definitely.
So, what was your proudest moment as a dancer or actress, as a performer?
Well, one of my favorite performances was when I did Beggar Woman, Les Miserables, and I felt that that was one of my strongest Broadway style dance performances. I really enjoyed that. It was fun to play. Then I did this whole scene where I fall on the floor. It was all drama, and then I raised my hand, like a beggar woman. If you know the Les Miserables story, so it was very, emulated around that, and it
I
was
fall on
fun.
the floor daily. There's nothing fun about it. I raise my hand. I hit my life alert. And, it takes 2 hours for people to come. It's kind of sad.
Oh no.
I think you had a better time of it, honestly. I think you did. We're talking with Ann Greyson, by the way. But then the whole novel writing thing is much more recent. You did short pieces. You were published in magazines and newspapers and journals. How did you make that transition into writing full-length books?
Well, the first one came in 2013. This is the one I'm releasing in a couple weeks, Gotham Kitty. And I just started getting these story ideas. And then I started putting them, trying them out, expanding them from screenplay for book format. And then now I'm just going for it,
Look
ready
at
to do
you.
another one right after.
So wait a minute. But first of all, Gotham Kitty. Can you give us a little a synopsis of what this has to do?
Well, it's a story of an alien from another galaxy
Uh,
that is captured by other alien people, and they end up again going through a wormhole and end up by Earth. They spit out, in our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and then to escape the little alien disables the ship and it gets it out in an escape pod, but that ship crashes, those aliens die, and
hey,
then he's stranded on Earth in Africa. So it's quite a story.
it is indeed, and it's perfect for the times because it's all BIPOC. They're BIPOC aliens, which is exciting to me. And no.
Several aliens.
So, but is this is it for grown-ups? Is it young adult fiction? Is it what is it for? Is it for everybody, obviously? But do you pitch towards which audience mostly?
I would say young adult because there's 11-year-old children in the story, additional to grown-ups. I thought it would appeal to young people. At least I'm hoping to. It will.
Now, who's publishing Gotham Kitty? How can people get it?
Well, it'll be in some bookstores and online, Amazon. .com,
What
Barnes&
imprint?
Noble.
Who is the publisher, or what's the name of them on the spine
Oh,
book?
Ingram Spark, which is part of Ingram Content Group.
Ingram Spark. So, and you can get it where all books are. And it'll be an ebook, and people can also buy it to download and Kindle it and things like that. Yes.
Yes. Now the ebook comes out a couple weeks after the print publication. That's just the standard procedure.
Now that's Gotham Kitty, but you said that was your first. When did Never Dead happen?
Well, Never Dead was a combination of ideas. I was a big fan. If you want to know, I was a huge fan of Resident Evil. You remember, the movie with Mila Jovovich? And but there were parts in that movie I was not into, like there were mutations and genetic experiments, and I felt that there were parts of that movie that could be done better. So after, I don't know, I think I was watching the series for 12 years. I watched it all the way till the end. In 2017 was the final movie, Resident Evil, the final chapter. And honestly, it was a big influence to me. So I kind of put together my own ideas for Never Dead along those lines, but I put in what I felt was more real and I left out a lot of things that I didn't like in Resident Evil or Night of the Living Dead. So because I had fallen into that series as a fan,
Right.
it was easy for it to influence me for the first book for me to release, because I felt I was ready to go with that, because I had so many ideas about zombie stories.
So what is it about Resident Evil and zombie stories that particularly appeals to you? Have you been able to say, oh, this is why I like them?
I thought the dialogue was really funny in
Oh,
Resident
they're
Evil.
funny.
The
Yeah, I never saw these things. Oh,
my favorite line in the movie. Do you really want to hear it?
of course I want to hear it.
I believe this is the reason why the movie became so popular. I can't do a British accent though, because it's fun. It's a computer that says it, but with a British accent. You're all gonna die down there. Line.
Wait, where's my life alert?
That's the reason. That's the reason I got into it. It was so funny because it was so unexpected for that line to come out.
Oh, out of the computer. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was right. There were zombies, so most of them ended up dying.
Oh, so are your books more scary, funny, scary? Where do they go on the line? Are they, horror can go like everything from Saw to Shaun of the Dead. So where do they, fall in that?
Well, there's comedy in my book. So one thing I did with Never Dead was I did put in comedy in that book too, and I have my own lines. Like I would say, cannibalism is not against the law. They're not doing anything illegal. So I threw in my own humor regarding zombies.
Yeah.
After watching Resident Evil, I had to come up with my own stuff too.
Right. So there's another book that where there's another book called Lonely Vampire. Is that funny? Also more romantic? What is that one?
That has comedy between the older characters, Lorraine Cragg and her husband, because they don't get along very well. They're aging, married a long time. It's not the most perfect relationship, and I wanted it to be real in that along those lines. And then she's suspicious because she lives next door to the vampire, fairly close, and so but she doesn't know the woman is a vampire. She just thinks the woman is weird or strange because she hears all these noises. So there's a lot of comedy in The Lonely Vampire too.
And is that one available and released, or is Never Dead the only one that's out there so far, and we've got to wait a while for the other two?
The Lonely Vampire is out. Gotham Kitty's hopefully coming out in a couple weeks.
Cool. And so then you'll have all three books out. You'll have three. Yes. Never Dead, Gotham Kitty, and The Lonely Vampire. And it sounds, pardon my phlegm, it sounds also, even though no writer wants to tell, that you're already working on book number 4.
Oh, yes, it's that one too, yes.
Can you mention anything about it, or do you have to keep hush-hush until you say the end?
Well, I can tell you, I have no...
tell it, let's go!
Ready?
Yes.
It's called Birdwatcher. It's a ghost story that takes place in the Poconos of Pennsylvania.
All right.
A child that was unfortunately murdered, and parents don't know whatever happened to her. So it's under investigation by the police, but she's a ghost now, and she gets to tell her story. So anyone who comes to the cabin is going to find a manuscript at some point, which is going to explain what happened to her. That's her way of communicating with the real living world.
So she, as a ghost, she was able to write a book, and or manuscript, the pages of this manuscript because she wrote it before she died, or already after she was a ghost.
Well, after she's a ghost, she actually fabricates an older version of herself, and that character doesn't realize necessarily they're a ghost, and just carries on. You get the impression like it's a real person, and they're writing this book, and the whole time,
or something like that, or all right, Because I'm figuring if the ghost can write a book, why can't the ghost go and kill the person who killed her? Right? I'm just spitballing here.
Well, I made it. It was a serial killer that was just passing through that happened to be there at that time. And then he's moved on to who knows where else. That's why. And she's the ghost. She's stuck in there where she is.
Not to give things away, but all these books, do you put happy endings on them, or do you like to keep them sort of tingly and creepy at the end?
I have happy endings.
Yay! God damn it, in my 50s I want happy endings. I just do. Anywho, speaking, you call that, what was it, bird watcher?
Yes.
You are one, right? You have been an ornithologist-y kind of person. When did you get into that?
Well, I had a little pet parakeet that was just so cute and had such a personality. Her name was Miss Fuji. So I created another story around her, like I wanted to do a children's book, and I called it with Miss Fuji. And it was, I named it Oh Christmas Tree, and that's a future book I want to create, probably the last one I will write in the next couple years. And so, I just developed interest in these little birds around. I started noticing them more in society. I never really paid attention because I had cats before. And now
you have cats with birds. This does not mix well.
Oh, no, they don't. No. And so, well, then I received an email from Cornell University about them having this program about the ornithology department where they actually work to preserve, the birds and of the world. And so, I decided to join and participate a little bit because after Miss Fuji did die, I still, have a feeling.
And by the way, she was delicious. Yeah, tiny, but the meat was sucking. I'm kidding. All right. Yes.
She was just such a personality. She was little. Like these birds are little, but they're so full of life and they're so cute. But, they don't live too long. That's the sad part.
But do you go to Central Park or to places to sit there for 2 hours with binoculars and do that sort of thing?
I did a couple of times, but lately, I don't have too much time to do it. But there is a lake near where I live in Norwood, and I'm thinking of checking it out, to see what, I saw ducks so far. Yeah, that was fun. There's a pretty big lake and it's not far away, and people supposedly go there and stuff. So there's a lot to do in this part of New York. So I will definitely do that perhaps in the future.
Now you mentioned time, because this I'm curious about. You're saying don't have time to. How much do you have to put aside, or are you one of those people like every day the egg timer goes on for 2 hours, and then that whether you feel inspiration or not, you sit down, you write? Or are you one of those people, I don't feel it today, but then you wake up one morning and for 7 hours you don't look up from the desk?
Well, I something could be like that, but no, I just write like one chapter a day, and I push myself to just work on one chapter a day when I'm writing a new book. But when I'm, touching up the latest novel, I'll work on 5 or 6 chapters a day just to get those ready in time for the release that is scheduled. But I can really write one chapter a day pretty easy in about 5 hours, the latest time. It doesn't take me too long.
No, that's pretty. Let me ask you, do you get, in this day and age where it isn't just like a book comes out, it's a major publisher, and it goes out there and it's reviewed on Kirkus or wherever, and so how do you get feedback? How do you know when people like your book, when they love a character? Do you get fan mail? Do you get email? Do you get notes from the publisher? Do you get Amazon reviews or what?
It's basically the reviews. I mean, it could be on Amazon, Goodreads. Some people have their own bloggers on the internet. Majority of the feedback I have is pretty good, but there's always going to be people that it may not be a story for them. And then you wonder, why did they read it? If it's not for them, but I think they went into reading the book expecting something else.
Oh my God! When I went to read Never Dead, I'm like, I'm 100 pages in, no Jerry Garcia, no.
No, there is Jerry Garcia. There is.
He's not in there at all. And
no, there's a reference. There's a reference to someone wearing a T-shirt
of the Grateful Dead. Oh, I missed that. Somehow I missed that in the pages there. So let me also. By the way, we're talking with Ann Greyson. She's the author of several books, including Gotham Kitty, which is coming out in a couple of weeks, and The Lonely Vampire and Never Dead. So let me also ask you, do you read other people in your genre, or do you avoid that for fear of either copying or being over-influenced or saying, oh crap, I was gonna do that, but it's already been done? What do you read?
Well, I like to read stuff that actually is in my genre. And I mentioned before that I was glad that I had seen Resident Evil so many times because when I wrote Never Dead, I was able to make sure it wasn't anything like Resident Evil at all. In fact, it reminds me more of like Gravity with Sandra Bullock kind of story because it's about survival and a girl on her own and what she has to go through to survive at the end, going through all this zombie pandemic environment. So in a way, it does help me to read some books or see some stories that are similar, but I don't have to see a lot of them. Just a few, just to make sure I'm not copying. And then they'll do stuff that I necessarily won't want to do.
Now, do you have a favorite all-time book? I mean, it could be any genre, but do you have a favorite, like, oh, I read this every 10 years just to tap back into it?
Well, it's a two-part answer.
All right.
Okay. The first book I really did like when I was younger was Wuthering Heights. But then now things have changed when you become a writer. And I would tell you that there is a book, I'm not that thrilled about the story. It's a little bit risky for me, but I think the writing is the best writing I could ever put my eyes on. And I would say James Patterson, The Murder of King Tut, is so superbly written. It's worth just looking at the way he wrote the book. But I have issues about that time, in Egypt and, the conflicts during that period.
Well, first of all, is it James Patterson, or is there a name under it who actually wrote everything? And Patterson said, "Oh, that's all right." Can you tell?
I think he wrote it.
He actually wrote The Murder of King Tut, was it?
Yeah, I think the book is so excellently written. Just like I was shocked at somebody who would put so much effort into a story that you think you've heard many times. I mean, we've all heard stories about Egypt. It's not like too original of a story when you think about it.
But when you say
it's so well written.
What's risky about it? Is it politically, or what's the problem with it?
The portrayal of women is not a very positive portrayal.
Okay, I didn't get the
women. Yeah.
Now you are a feminist, and on your blog, on your website, you say what?
I don't know if I would call myself feminist, but you can call me that as well.
All right, I'll call you a feminist. You are, I think they quote feminine lesbian also.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true.
That is okay, Mazel. Are you with somebody? Are you not with somebody? What's if you don't mind, what's your status at the moment?
I'm not with anyone at this time.
And why you have
moving to New York, and I'm exploring.
Oh, mit Mazel. When did you realize that you like girls more, or rather than people with penises?
See, I thought this was a touchy subject for a rabbi.
I thought this was touchy.
I'm surprised you're a modern day rabbi, very liberal.
Oh, please.
Modern day.
I have 3 people in my congregation, and half of them are dead. So
my God.
Yeah. Well, our show is like a gas station. It doesn't even. So yeah. Come on, tell. And if there's a shower scene, tell more.
I tell you, I think I've been feeling this way since I was a young girl. The first crush I had was Snow White, so I had to be like 3 years old.
Oh my God! So, but did you have issues telling, if you ever told your mama and your tata, here's my friend who wants to come over for the holidays, or it was never, they just knew, or what?
Well, I didn't say anything to my family until maybe I was 17 years old, because I didn't know if it was something, to necessarily share. I was nervous about it, but they were suspicious, being in ballet. That
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of women in ballet, so they were suspicious that I was spending more time with girls. They really didn't see me spending time with boys. So, my sister, my mom, they were a bit suspicious, and Finally, when I was 17 or 18, I just told them, yes, that's, how I feel.
And when you were, at least you were in New York in those environs and in the East Coast, so you always felt normal about it, right? You never went to a place where you felt, oh my God, I'm not, hegemonic, if you will. Right?
I feel normal about it. It's just the way I ended up, I say born this way,
Because this is where the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s, not 2000, post 2000, post everything, and then gay marriage and all of that. It was an era that was different. But so,
the 80s and 90s, yes, yeah. It was slightly different. But I felt it was maybe at that time it was just AIDS was coming out. Maybe 86, 87. There were some things happening in the gay community that were affecting people and paving the way for those changes to happen.
Well, as a person who was in ballet, did you lose many friends? Did you lose colleagues and cohorts you were dancing with?
No, that was probably the reason why I stayed in ballet. That, if you want to know, it was a very comfortable environment. I think that there's a lot of gay men in dance as well.
But when I meant lose, I meant in the AIDS era. Were there people that you?
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't. I only met one man that died of AIDS, and years later, when I was in Florida for a while, and he was working at a hotel. That was really the only person I ever came across that died of AIDS.
If he was working in a hotel, are you sure he didn't die of boredom?
Really? Yeah.
I kid. Did you dance with Mikhail Baryshnikov?
I was in class with him, yes. We were in the same level, advanced.
Could you tell at that point that he would be Mikhail Baryshnikov?
Oh, he was already Mikhail Baryshnikov because he's a little bit older than I am. So when I was in class with him, I knew who he was. And, he would it was on Saturdays with a teacher named David Howard in New York City. And he came with some other principal dancers from the American Ballet Theater. And it was just normal because I wasn't at the advanced level. So it wasn't strange to see principal dancers coming into my classes sometimes. It just happened to be him that particular Saturday class I was in with David Howard.
So it's just one of those, oh, yeah, he's here. It's like, and he's a good dancer, but so am I. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah, I felt we were about the same level. It's just that he had, a bigger career, older, more experienced. But this was 1987, 88. So he'd already been in, White Nights, the movie. And he'd already, was recognized around the world at that time.
Let me ask, what is something that you learned in dance and theater that you can still apply to life in general?
Well, I believe that sometimes you have to, maintain perhaps a performance personality to be able to get through some of the things that happen in real life and be able to just, let things go, not get too excited about, everyday problems. When you're performing sometimes, or you have a conflict with someone, so you just put on a performance personality, you smile, you're nice, you tolerate it, you go on. I think that's what sometimes you have to do if you're coming across someone who's not most pleasant personality.
Like me, basically. Every time I ask a question, it's filtering through Ann Greyson's head. It's like, do I answer this one? Do I call him an asshole? Or all right, I'll smile and I'll give him the best answer I can. Yes, I can see the wheels turning, if you will.
Smile and give the best answer possibly I can come up with. Exactly.
Now, we're talking with Ann Greyson here on Dave's Gone By. I do want to tell everybody that it is just after 10 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. It is the 807th episode of the program, and just in a moment or two, we're going to begin letting in people to play the weekly Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Ann has kindly agreed to stay for the quiz, to play this history quiz. And the questions can come from all different fields, and they're all ridiculous. So first of all, we appreciate your sticking around. We've got one of our guests just about to enter the room is David Sheward, the former president of the Drama Desk, and he's also a blogger and a writer and a theater critic. We're waiting also for Leslie Hoban Blake, who is a director and a theater critic as well. But alas, I'm losing my colors. Rabbi Sal Solomon, will not be hosting the game. That will go to the host of this overall show, Dave, of Dave's Gone By. So let me bid a very, very fine thank you to Ann Greyson and remind everybody that you can get 2 of her books now and 1 of her new books in just a couple of weeks. The books are Gotham Kitty, The Lonely Vampire, and Never Dead. It remains for me to say, Ann Greyson, it has been lovely talking to you. I wish you much, much more success, much more generativity and creativity, and more bird watching, which is also very, very nice. So thank you so much. And do not go away. Just stay there. You'll be alone on camera. You can sing or do something or.
Can I say something? I think I know one of those people that's on the panel. Did you say David Sheward? I think he used to work for Backstage Los Angeles. Am I right?
He used to work for Backstage New York, so you probably had to. You'll meet him in a minute. You'll ask him.
I'll ask him.
Oh,
I recognize the name.
It's what I call 6 degrees of schlepperation.
Yes, definitely.
Jewish people call it. Ann Greyson, thank you very, very much. Let me get out of here so David can be here. It's been a delight, but don't go away. There's more Dave's Gone By to come. Hello, play the music, damn it. Why is it not playing?
Well, thank you for having me, Rabbi. I love it. It's been so much fun already.
Thank you. All right, the music won't play, but make believe it is. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next part of Dave's Gone By. Here with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and we're getting ready to play the weekly Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. We have with us Ann Greyson, who was just talking to Rabbi Sal Solomon. She's the author of a couple of books out now. Ann, do you have a website where people can go to read about you and all that stuff?
Yes, it's annsgrayson.com.
It's in the chat.
It's actually in the chat box that my darling and wonderful wife, Joyce, has put on our Facebook page. So it's Ann S. Greyson, GREYSON.com. That's why we're calling this episode Amazing Grace.
Well, I thank you. And I have never met Joyce, by the way. I haven't. So if she can pop on camera, I'd love to say hello to her at some point.
She doesn't do that
camera
victim thing. She won't know. She's just.
Tell her I said hello.
Tell her witness.
She can yell it. She can hear.
It's witness protection. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to meet you. Great to meet you.
Well, she's a sweetie, and we've been married for 23 years. So
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you on your book. Congratulations to David Sheward on his continuing blog, which is The David Desk.
Ask him if his mom still thinks the show is stupid.
and whose mom called this show stupid. So so David, where are you? Are you vacationing somewhere in like Baltimore, or where are you in Baltimore, or where are you at? No.
Shirt. Wow.
Oh, David, you're muted.
Do this, honey.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm vacationing in, it's not sure, the town is either Scarborough or Pine Point, Maine, which is right outside of Portland.
Wow.
Yeah,
How is it? I've never been to Maine. I've always wanted to go. How's Maine?
Very, very nice. We've been here many times before, me and my husband, Jerry. And let's see, my mother is from Maine. So as a little kid, we would visit her side of the family quite often. Way up in the northern part of the state, almost to Canada, in this town called Machias, which is where my mom's from. And everybody's like Stephen King. No, I'm kidding. Well, he's from Maine, and all of most of his stories take place in Maine.
Actually,
But
that's a good question for Ann Greyson, who writes in sort of the horror genre. What do you think?
Oh, really?
Well, can I ask David, were you in Los Angeles?
No.
Like backstage or New York
Yes.
backstage?
Yes. I was with Backstage in New York.
I remember.
Yes. Just for a while, I was the executive what was my title? I was like managing editor and executive editor for a while. And we had an office in Los Angeles, but I was based in New York.
Oh, so you never were in Los Angeles at any point?
I visited the office once or twice,
Okay.
but I was based in New York, in the New York office.
But I remember those days.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
But how would you?
Thank you. It's just, I hope it was a pleasant memory.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yeah.
Good.
But and would you have been visiting? Why would you have been visiting Backstage as opposed to just checking the listings for acting and dancing opportunities? How would you have known David as opposed to just as a name? That's what I'm trying to get.
Oh, me? Well, because I was working on theater, if you remember. So I knew various people that worked at Backstage, Dramalog, all those newspapers, Los Angeles Times. And I remembered, coming across David's name several times, submissions to Backstage.
Yeah, I did write articles which did appear in the Los Angeles edition. And later on, there was like a New York edition, there was an LA edition.
Okay. David, can you check your mic? Has something kind of got you there? Can you talk a little bit? I think we
How's this?
Much better, much better.
Maybe I was too far away.
There. Welcome. Oh my God. Okay.
How's this?
I love the shirt. It's vacation.
Joyce says she loves your shirt. That's very vacation. Not really a main vacation shirt, but it's a vacation shirt.
Yeah, we had a New York edition of Backstage and a Los Angeles edition of Backstage, and then eventually we merged into one huge newspaper. And then we got online, and now it's and I no longer work there, and now I'm a high school teacher.
Yay! So and let me just tell people one of the things is we're still waiting for. Go figure, we're waiting for Leslie Blake. I haven't checked my messages yet. She tends to have issues coming online. She tends. Hey, honey, would you mind getting my phone and seeing if I got a message from our other guest?
Do not shame your guest.
I'm not shaming, but every week. Hold on.
I think this is Ed Rubin. Hold on.
Well, anyway, while we're waiting for her, I will. I'll start the game and I'll tell Ann the rules of the game because she is new to the game. We call it the Today Yesterday Quiz, and the basic thing is it's a trivia game. I ask some trivia questions. All of these things happened in history on this date. Today is July 17th, 2021. Every one of these events happened on July 17th in the past year. Cool? Okay. So, each person, assuming we have 3 players, each person will get 3 questions. We'll have 3 rounds. And then there's a tiebreaker if we need it. And even if we don't need it, we do the tiebreaker anyway. Do you happen to have, since you are a writer, Ann, do you have a pen and paper handy? Just like scrap paper or pencil? Because you might need it for the tiebreaker. Fantastic. And we're really all set.
I need the pen and paper?
You will, but not yet. You'll need it for the tiebreaker. So there's just a scribble down, a loose piece of paper or a scrap of used toilet paper works fine.
Right.
And tear through it. I'm just saying. Anywho,
a paper towel.
I thought you were working to keep your guests this time.
Never. So I'm gonna. I also want to tell Ann the way the game works is each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you get it wrong, there's no penalty, but one of the other contestant can steal the question from you and get those 2 points. So that's basically all the rules you'll need. What I will ask from Ann Greyson is, could you kindly pick a number between 1 and please make sure it's an integer, number between 1 and 6, and tell me what it is.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay, 4.
4. Ann goes with 4. David Sheward, could you kindly pick a number?
3.5. No, I'm kidding. I was going to go with a fraction instead of an integer. I'll say 3.
3. David Sheward has 3, and Greyson has 4. What that means, Ann, is I'm going to roll a die.
But tell her that most of the time, the first time people look
Oh,
at scores.
yeah, Joyce is saying, and this is kind of important to Ann, some of these questions are ridiculous. Some of them are more basic trivia. They're generally not easy at all. So a lot of times, first-time guests, if they're lucky if they get 2 points at all.
It's for fun.
Everything.
Yeah.
Are you going to ask me directly the question, or do I just blurt it out if I know the answer?
Well, no, I'll ask you, and then I'll give
When
it
it's your turn. When it's your turn.
Sorry. Yeah, we go
Okay.
one by one. And then I'll ask you usually, is that your final answer? Because it's sort of, yay! Hold on one moment, please. Only 12 minutes late. Hold on. One moment, please.
Can you imagine if this were the match game and Brett Summers was late all the time?
Stumbling in after.
Or if it
Hold
was-
on, yay! All right, Leslie, and make sure you're not muted, because we see your nose, and your glasses, and your hats, and your lamp, and your wrestling belt. There we go. Okay, welcome, Leslie.
Leslie.
Unmute Roo. She's doing it. She knows. But she's talking still mute. There. Okay.
There I go. So,
Welcome.
1 minute at a time. Good morning. It's early. I didn't sleep much last night, so it's really early.
Well, welcome. Early or that. So hey, you're only 13 minutes late, Leslie. We're making.
By my standards, that's on time. Hi, good morning. Hello, pretty lady. Who are you?
Good morning.
That
Hi,
pretty.
David. I wasn't saying pretty lady to you. That's very funny.
Thank you.
Well,
so
that shirt, the shirt fooled me. You're right. The shirt fooled me.
That pretty lady is Ann Greyson, longtime actress, dancer, and past few years, a writer, a novelist, author of Never Dead Gotham Kitty, and sorry, Ann, I've forgotten the last. The Lonely Vampire, of course, and
Probably the greatest title I've ever heard. That's a fantastic title. I don't know the book. I'm sorry.
And no
Well,
relation.
So nice to
no
meet
relation
you,
to-
Leslie. Thank you. Hello.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, David. What did you say?
Oh, I was just going to make a joke. I was going to say no relation to the ward of millionaire Bruce Wayne.
Gotham Kitty. No,
No relation.
How do you know that?
that's true. You can't be sure until they do that DNA test, and then the 1, 2, 3 and me. Yeah.
Well, spelled
Right.
differently, number one, and number two, the latter is
Oh,
fictional.
don't give him the number 2. Don't say number 2 to David Lefkowitz. You know better than that.
Yeah, seriously. Leslie, I need you to pick a number which could be 2, between 1 and 6.
Oh, both of my numbers are available?
Generally,
I generally go between 2 and 6. Okay, 6 this week. Are you having a good time, David? Are you in a lovely place where you are?
Yes, someone's mowing the lawn outside my window.
usually I have that. So wait, Leslie, what number did you say? 2 or 6? I missed.
I said 6.
6.
You're really just home and you're making believe, so you have this little
I'm
noise
in-
machine going.
I'm
I
in
know.
a little town near Portland, Maine.
That's lovely. My kids lived right near there for a while
Oh,
when
really?
they first came back. When they first came back to the East Coast from LA, they sort of moved to Maine, to Vermont, and then it was going to be Rhode Island, Connecticut, and they settled in Connecticut, fortunately.
Okay, so here's the deal. I rolled the die, and just so you know, I have a digital die rolling website thing here. It came up number 5, which is right between Ann and Leslie, so I can't use that number. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and do it again. And we come up with a number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So David, you can choose to go first, second, or third. Which do
I
you,
believe first.
you want to be first, David? Ooh. Okay, we're going to roll the die again. Up, 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 up. And it comes up the lucky number 6. Leslie, do you want to be second or third?
I'll take second, thank you. Sorry, Ann. That sort of leaves you with sloppy thirds, but
That's okay.
we could probably rename that, but yes, indeed. So it'll be David
I'll
Sheward,
stick by it.
Leslie Blake, and Ann Greyson. That will be the order. I'm just going to write this down. And we're off to the races. Are you guys ready to play the Today, Yesterday trivia game?
Yes.
Not really, but okay.
Yes, I am ready.
Oh, the excitement is starting already. So the first question will go to you, David Sheward.
Okay. Let me
The-
just move for a minute because while this guy is lawn mowing, just for a minute.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
By the way, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce, Ann Greyson, Leslie Hoban Blake, and the very movable David Sheward. Oh, and he's taking a point north by northwest, so maybe we'll have a history.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very Hitchcockian. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless that's like one of those evil satanic things that you've tricked out with letters on it just to fool us.
I control the world. All points of the compass.
There you go. Well, they compass me about. Yay, they compass me about.
Wow.
So,
That's
Haggadah.
Oh,
Here we go.
oh, quite a quote. Yay.
Okay.
Yay.
David Sheward, 1717 was the year. Okay. Premiering today at a concert on the River Thames are Handel's orchestral suites making up his water music.
Oh, okay.
Which of these is not true about water?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. A,
Okay.
We love the way he does this.
Go ahead.
We love his question.
newborn babies are nearly 80% water. B, the most effective way to kill bacteria in water is ultraviolet light. C, one spilled gallon of gasoline can contaminate 750,000 gallons of water. Or D, the average American uses 4 times more water per day than the average European.
Okay. They all sound like they could be true. And I think the human body is more than 80% water. Okay, so it's a baby is 80% water.
Right.
What was the second one?
The second one is most effective way to kill bacteria in water is UV light.
Okay.
One is one spilled gallon of gasoline can contaminate 750,000 gallons of water. Or D, the average American uses 4 times more water per day than the average European.
So which of those is not true?
Which of those is not correct?
I would say the average American probably uses 10 times more water than the average European. So I'm going to go with the last one.
You're going
Is
to
that
go
drinking or washing? Just out of
But
curiosity.
you mean whatever?
use.
Combined usage. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's the last one. I think the average American uses a lot more than 4 times than the average European.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, pour yourself a drink, David Sheward. That is the correct answer, but in the way you thought. The average American uses only twice as much.
So
as
it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you still got it right. You still got the question right. You got your 2 points.
Indeed.
David's already on the board. You have fear, other contestants. Have fear because, once David's on the board.
Put numbers up here.
You know I won last week when you weren't here, David, right? You know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, I would have thought by now
I
that he
missed-
would have said something to you about it.
I
Okay.
missed the headline
This
on
is a joke,
CNN.
Ann. It's a friendly competition.
I missed the headline on CNN.
It wasn't on CNN. They put it on Fox for some reason. I don't know. But
It's
anyway,
in a chyron down below. It runs across and it says
now,
last week.
I think it went viral on Twitter.
Leslie Blake, your question is next. Are you ready?
I'm just going to get my charger. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay. The
He
year.
doesn't even bother to listen when I'm doing it. Look at that.
Because he knows if you miss the question, he'll just get it by guessing.
That's right. That's right. He'll just come in and steal it. Go ahead. I'm very sorry, Ed.
The
It
year
must
is
be making you crazy. I'm terribly sorry. Okay, go ahead.
1814 was
Sure.
the year. On this date, on July 17th, 1814, published today is Matthew Flinders' book, A Voyage to Terra Australis, about being the first explorer to circumnavigate Australia. Which of these was not invented by Australians or in Australia? A,
Whoa. Okay.
the pacemaker. B, boxed wine. C, Google Maps. Or D, Marmite food spread.
Not.
Not invented by an Australian or in Australia.
What the hell is Marmite?
Oh, it's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
People hate it. It's a vegetable spread. It's a weird. You bake a bunch of stuff down into this ooze, and it's vaguely salty.
That sounds delish. That just sounds
And you
yummy.
spread it on bread. And you spread it on
Whoa,
bread.
vaguely salty.
Oh, it's actually very salty. Okay.
Okay.
And there's a pretzel called a twiglet that's wrapped in it.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of twiglets.
Okay. So now I'm back to the questions. Okay, so it was the
Aren't
pacemaker,
Twiggy's
the
chocolate. Yeah.
pacemaker, Google
Boxed
Maps,
wine.
Marmite, and I don't remember the third one.
Boxed wine.
Fourth one. Boxed wine. Hard to believe someone invented boxed wine in any place on the face of the earth. This is one of those I don't have the foggiest idea, so it's gonna be a pure guess. I've never heard of anything particularly Australian attached to Google Maps, so I'm gonna say Google Maps.
Is that your final answer?
I love it when you do that. Yes, David, it's my final answer.
Well, Leslie, I'm afraid you have to look towards David's thing behind him because you're in the wrong direction on that one. Google Maps was an Australian creation. So we have a steal opportunity now. I'm going to roll the die. The die comes up number 5, which is between Ann and Leslie. So, Ann, you get to try and steal this question. Do you need me to read it again?
All right, can I have the answers again? If
Yes.
you don't mind? It's without minus Google Maps, because I was actually going to say that too. But now I'm not going to be able to say it.
I feel better. I'm rooting for you, Ann.
Here we go. So, which of these was not an Australian creation? Was it A, the pacemaker, B, boxed wine, or D, Marmite food spread?
A pacemaker.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, Anne, although you are heart-stoppingly lovely, that is not the correct answer. Pacemaker was an American David Sheward.
Okay.
Deal.
50-50 chance here.
Yep.
So it's boxed wine or Marmite food spread.
Right.
Marmite.
Yeah.
Marmite.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, it's like Marmite is weird enough that it was probably done in Australia. So it's which of these two was not done in Australia?
Not Australian. Right.
I mean, and boxed wine sounds crazy enough to be made in Australia. I got an idea, mate. Let's put this wine in a box. We'll make a fortune. Crikey, you're nuts. All right, let's see.
And this is why David is a critic rather than an actor. No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
Just
for that, I'm going to do the rest of the interview in the accent.
Just be careful, David, because it looks like you might be having a mini stroke. It looks a little like Bell's palsy.
Boxed wine.
Don't do it.
I'll say boxed wine was not invented in Australia.
Blimey.
Is that your final answer?
Cool, stop asking me that. I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't my last answer.
Well, David, although you could have been drunk with power with those 2 points you got in the first round, I'm afraid you are not correct in this one. I have stumped the panel.
Marmite?
Insane as this may sound, Marmite was made in Germany, popularized in the UK, and then inspired Vegemite, which is more of the Australian thing. But Marmite originally was a German thing.
I did not know that. I would never have liked it as much had I known that.
Well, there, yeah. So I think the original Marmite was made from Jews, and then they reworked the rest.
It was people, Soylent Green. Oh, Lord.
There you go. It was sort of off brown. We have still a 2-0 game with David Sheward, but Ann Greyson hasn't answered a question yet. So you can tie David with 2 points if you get this question right. Ann, are you ready as you've ever been?
Yes.
Here we go. The year was 1867. By the way, this is not a multiple choice, okay? 1867. Established today in Boston is Harvard School of Dental Medicine, the first university-based dental school. In honor of this milestone, what was the name of the house band on The Muppet Show led by gravel-voiced Dr. Teeth?
The what?
I'll read it again. In honor of the establishment of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, what was the name of the house band on the Muppet Show, led by gravel-voiced Dr. Teeth?
He had red hair, right? He had
I
red
think
fluffy
so.
hair. Yeah.
Goodness. The name of the house brand or
Band.
band?
House band.
Band.
On the Muppet Show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, house band
Um,
on the Muppet Show.
Image of Dr. Teeth.
I think I'm guessing it was molars something, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
You want to take that guess with there? Gonna go with the molar thing.
I know it has to do with teeth. I think the name of the band had to do with teeth, and I think something's coming to me like molars and dentures. I don't know. That's all I could say. Something molars.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was
Boy, that's animal, I think. Oh, because animals are drunk, right? Yeah. Anyway,
All
so
the Muppets look alike. I mean,
That's my final answer because I'm not exactly sure.
okay, what was your was it dentures or
Well,
molars?
something molars
Molars.
or dentures.
she doesn't know so she can say Lin-Manuel Noriega.
Yeah, or Lin-Manuel Noriega. That's sort of a standard answer that we have here. But here we go. Well, I'm afraid you.
trying to come up with a pun.
We'll have to drill you on that answer later because that's not the correct answer.
I have this one. Hold on.
Oh, we have another. Joyce has another image coming in while I roll the die.
An image. I lost where it is now. Hold on.
The die comes up though number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So,
Okay.
David Sheward, happy Harvard School of Medicine Day.
Oh,
Founded today.
Bill, that's what she's doing.
Yes,
Okay.
It's
yes.
a dentist.
So.
My father was a dentist, doesn't help me.
Oh, okay. The
I
house
don't know.
band on the Muppet Show, which was led by Dr. Teeth.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Wow.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you didn't hem and haw about that at all, David Sheward. Yes, that is the correct answer. It was Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. David Sheward with 2 more points, and this is why David Sheward is the shark. He's the man.
Even on vacation in his relaxed state.
Even in
And we sort of have to tag team. We can't work together. But I'm in your corner, just so you know. Nothing personal, David. It's a girl thing, you know. What can I say?
Game, you know.
Joyce wants to know, does your mother, David, does your mother still think our show is stupid?
Does your mother still watch our show? What's wrong with her?
What was the last thing that caused that guffaw?
Sorry.
Leslie said, does he even still watch the show? It's like, does anybody still?
Never watched it.
Oh,
That was just while I was visiting her, and I was sitting in the living room doing this, and she was sitting there.
Oh,
And she's like, this is so stupid.
She said, David, that's about the dumbest thing I ever heard.
for this I sent you to college.
I'm sure she still thinks that, yes.
His mom is a critic.
Well, yeah, that's right. This is how you became a critic, David. Your mother was a critic, and the genes filtered down.
That's how we all became critics, Dave.
All right, we have a game here. We're going into the second round with David in the lead with 4 points, and Ann and Leslie still getting on the board. But anything can still happen. We got some more questions for you in the Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By, our 807th episode. We're calling it Amazing Grace, or just Ann Greyson, as well as David and Leslie Blake here. And it's about 10:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Continuing, are you guys ready for round 2?
Yes.
Yes, here we go. Round 2, the first question, goes to David Sheward. And this is, you'll get this one. Yeah, you'll get this one. It's a non-multiple choice.
Okay.
The year 1935.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, farmers are not interested in farming pictures, is a quote from an article by Abel Green, published today in Variety, under what iconic headline?
Hicks, Nix, Sticks, Picks.
What the heck is that?
Say, is that your final answer?
Wait. Hicks, No, Sticks, Hicks. No, Sticks, Nix, Hicks, Picks.
Maybe Nix?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Now, I could deduct a quarter point because everybody gets this wrong, but you're really close enough. It would be perfect the way you said it, but the actual headline was Sticks, Nix, Hick, Picks.
Oh,
really?
Singular. Very. I'm surprised they didn't just do Hicks because it would have been the same thing. Yeah, but it's Sticks, Nix, Hick.
Oh.
Picks, which just meant that when they would play these farm pictures and farm country, no, they wanted to see stories about Manhattan. But guess what? I'm going to give you the 2 points on that because you knew exactly what that was all about. David Sheward with 6 points. Hang on.
We're already in the 1930s. What happened to the 1200s this week? Nothing happened in the 1200s
Nothing happened today.
this week?
Nothing happened today.
Nothing happened today.
In all those centuries.
I'm already
We can play a new game. Nothing happened on this day.
Yes. The
Well,
surgeons
here-
got up and they
And we have so far drifted from what the original point of the show was, where it was what happened on this day, and then
Oh yeah. Now
occasionally they are things that happen on this day, but usually it's just a jumping off point to some weird question that Dave Lefkowitz stays up all night creating.
I do, but that question was that happened. That was a July 17th.
No, I know that. I mean, I don't know that it was today, but I know that had a date on it, right?
And this next question, which goes to you, Leslie, is going to be a question that did happen, particularly on this date. It's a multiple choice, and I know you. I know how much you love sports. Try not to spit out your coffee while answering this one. Here we go. 1936 was the year. In a streak that started today and ran from one season into another, this New York Giant set a record that still stands: 24 consecutive wins. Was he A, Dizzy Dean, B, Lefty Grove, C, Carl Hubble, D, Bob Feller?
I actually know where one of those guys played. One of them. Dizzy Dean, Carl Hubble, Bob Feller, and the other one was?
Carl Hubble.
I said Carl Hubble.
Oh, Dizzy
Dean, Carl Hubble, Bob Feller.
Lefty Grove.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. And this player, in whatever position he played, he won 21 games, you say?
Well, this New York Giants set a record: 24 consecutive wins.
24. And it's a New York Giant, so that's a big clue.
That is correct.
Okay.
And 1936 was,
Yeah, 1936. I thought it was going to be about the Olympics or something. When you said 1936, that's the year I would associate with. What the fuck do I know about this? Not bloody much. Okay. Dizzy Dean.
Is that your final?
That's my final guess.
All right, okay. Well, this is going to make your head spin, Leslie, but I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. It is not Dizzy Dean. I'm going to roll the die. Let's see who can possibly steal. Would come up with a number 3, which is David Sheward's number. David Sheward, you have a chance to steal and actually get up to 8 points if you get this right.
Okay. Give me the.
For this, I get up on a Saturday.
Late. Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. Which of these did this? Which of these players, this New York Giant, set a record of 24 consecutive wins?
Okay.
Was it B, Lefty Grove, C, Carl Hubble, D, Bob Feller?
I'm going to guess Bob Feller.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, David, you've fallen and you can't get up. That is not the correct answer. So, Ann, oh my goodness, Ann, you've got a shot here. Do you have any
I'm ready. I'm guessing C, Carl Hubble.
I don't see Carl Hubble. Is he around here? No, just kidding.
No, it's the letter C.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you don't need a Hubble telescope to know that Ann Greyson has gotten on the board with 2 points. It was Carl Hudson. We need Animal on the top.
And do not feed him things like sea Carl. Please do not give him excuses. He does very well on his own.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Check this out. Well, we still have one more question though in our second round, and this goes directly to Ann. So Ann, you can go from 2. You can double your 2 points to 4 if you get this question right. Are you ready?
I'm gonna try. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here we go. The year 1945. And this is not a multiple choice. Starting today, and for 2 weeks, world leaders met in Potsdam to figure out what to do with defeated Germany. Those leaders were Harry Truman, Joseph Stalin, and Winston Churchill. Only Churchill couldn't stay for the whole conference and was replaced by whom?
Oh my God, I think I know. I don't believe this. If I think the first name might be John. I actually think I know, but it totally escapes me because I know someone did replace Churchill at some point, but I'm not sure if that's the man you're talking about. But it was something like John Sterling or, I feel like I know it, like it's the tip of my tongue, but I could just say the first name might be John something. John Marshall, John Sterling. I could be completely wrong though.
Do you want to go with?
It's not a multiple choice?
I'm sorry, no, it's not.
Oh. You said he was replaced by someone from England?
Churchill had to go, and he was replaced by...
What, 1945?
Correct. The Potsdam Conference.
I don't remember the name, but I think I know it, but it just escapes me.
Make up Lin-Manuel Noriega, maybe, or could it be? Or...
Right.
Tell her to name a character from her book.
Name one of the characters.
Yeah, name one of your characters.
Oh, that was there in 1945?
Well, they were undead. What they could have been.
The ghost one, the kitty one.
Yeah, the kitty.
Actually, the vampire could be because she's been around since a long time. So it's a Ileana Vladislava. She could be there.
Is the right answer. No, you want to go with Ileana Vladislava? Is that the no?
Or something like, well, I'll try John Marshall.
John Marshall.
It's probably wrong, but yeah.
Well, much as I enjoy going to the John, that is not the correct answer. So we're going to roll the die, ladies and gentlemen, and see who gets to steal. We come up, and just as I did a couple of times this morning, I came up with a number 2, which is closest to David Sheward.
Okay.
David Sheward, do you want to? You look like you knew this one. So, who replaced Churchill at Potsdam?
He's a history teacher.
You're English or your history? I always forget that.
He's everything.
Well, it's special education. I'm supposed to know all this stuff, but we rarely. Clement Attlee.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, we're in for some clement weather because that is the correct answer. David Sheward, Clement. What happened was he was voted into office. Right. They had a regime change in England.
Had an election, yes.
Yeah, and Churchill left, and Clement Attlee took his place because he was the new prime minister. So
I was thinking it was Anthony Eden. I was off by a decade at least.
He was
off by a decade.
I believe he was Attlee's foreign minister.
Anybody remember Howard Attlee, the press agent? Anybody know what happened?
Sure.
I know the name. I don't know anything about it.
I remember his name coming up a few times when I was starting. I think
or he would do off real low stuff. But he
that was back in 1287, wasn't it, David?
Yes.
So here's the deal: we have finished our second round out of 3 in our Today Yesterday quiz, and go figure, David Sheward is in the lead with 8 points. Ann Greyson in second place with 2 points, and Leslie yet to get on the board.
I know.
But you know what? I think depending on how things go, anybody could still win. So
right. If we hit David Sheward over the head and steal his points, then we could possibly win. Other than that, I do not see how that's mathematically possible, but okay, go ahead. Sure, why not?
Mathematically, because we have 3 more questions plus a tiebreaker. So if, let's say, Anne gets all 3 of those questions right, she would should be tied
That's
with
right.
him with the tiebreaker.
She could tie with him.
But let's see how this goes, because we start, though, our 3rd round with a question going to guess who? David Sheward. So, ladies and gentlemen, David, are you ready for round 3?
Yes, go ahead.
The year was 1955. Multiple choice. In a special televised press event, live from Anaheim, California, Disneyland opens. But which of these is not a Walt Disney film released in the 1950s?
Okay.
A, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. B, The Sword and the Rose. C, Perry. D, Tonka. Places.
The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, I'm pretty sure, was not a Disney film. I think that was or maybe it was. I think that was some sort of American international cheapo thing. I could be wrong, maybe, but there used to be the show, the Wonderful World of Color, which later became the Wonderful World of Disney, and they would show everything in the Disney catalog. And I don't remember that Seventh Voyage of Sinbad being on that. I'll say the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. That's where I'm headed.
And is that headed towards a final answer?
Yes.
Well, that was sin good, because yes, indeed, David Sheward, well done. Co-produced by Ray Harryhausen, which is why that picture has become something of a classic in its look and stuff. But it was a Columbia.
Okay.
It was not Disney.
And it was a George Powell. George Powell was the director, I believe.
Oh, so there you go. So,
The special effects.
Well, I'm sorry?
Or Powell did the special effects.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry, I said director. You're right. It wasn't.
He did stop motion animation, but maybe he was the director, because he did direct other films like When Worlds Collide and sci-fi stuff like that. And I think he did some horror films too.
Well, it makes sense if they have that kind of weight.
I don't know about Powell doing that. I just know about I know about one film that I saw on some movie of the week kind of thing, or before TCM, and it scared the hell out of me. It had walking skeletons and stuff like that, and a big spider. That might have been Sinbad, but it was also Ray Harryhausen. Those things were so scary, even on a television set in black and white. They were so terrifying.
I think that was Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes, you're right. Oh, you're too good.
Yeah, go figure. David would know the answer to something. So he has. This is why he has 10 points going into the rest of round 3.
Even if you went to public or private school, I'm curious.
Has David ever had? Is your new goal to get all of them right? Have you ever had a night on this thing where you just where nobody gets any answers?
I don't know.
I've never had a 0-0-0 game. I've had some low-scoring ones.
No. I'm asking if Sheward has ever won all of the points in one of them.
On this show? I don't think so.
Not while I've been playing you, but I just wondered if sometime when I wasn't around.
It'd be
Not that my being around today makes any difference other than my chatting with you all. I'm absolutely useless this morning, as you can hear and see.
Leslie won last week.
Yeah, Leslie, you won, but also David.
I know. I'm saying when Sheward's not around, I do fine.
So here's
I psych myself out. It's terrible.
So it is a 10-point game, an 8-point lead for Dave. But here's so essentially we're going to ask the questions anyway, just for funsies. Leslie,
maybe I can tie with Ann. Let's see if I can tie with Ann. 2 points.
Joyce is asking, David, did you go to public school, private school? Where were you educated?
I went to private school in Philadelphia from 7th grade to graduate to being a senior in high school. A public school, an all-boys public school called Chestnut Hill Academy, and then I went to Temple University and Carnegie Mellon for my undergraduate degree in theater.
Whoa!
I knew about Carnegie Mellon. What was the one in between?
Temple. Well, I went to Carnegie Mellon.
Right. Okay.
I went to Carnegie Mellon with Cherry Jones and Holly Hunter.
Whoa!
But I was in the English department, not the theater department, and I wanted to be an actor, and I auditioned for the theater department, and they didn't accept me. So I transferred to Temple University, where they did accept me, and graduated from Temple.
Did you act your little heart out
Hmm?
in college productions? Did you act your little heart out in college productions?
Yes, I did.
So will you bring pictures next time and show them to us?
Yes.
I'll show you mine if you'll show me yours.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but I auditioned for Honeydew Melon because they gave me seed money. I don't know what that means. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, nothing. Okay, here we go. The next question.
He does these, and he just comes up with them. He doesn't know what we're going to say.
Mr.
And there's always something. It's always there.
Leslie Hoban.
I'm in awe.
Aw.
The small town outside of Portland, Maine. Oh.
So here's your question, Leslie. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Meaningless.
Sure,
Here we
go
go.
ahead.
1968 was the year. Released in England is the animated Beatles film Yellow Submarine.
Oh, I was there. I know the answer. Oh, wait. No, I don't. I was in London for the opening, but I'm not sure that I know what the question is going to be. You just gave me all the answers. All right. So go ahead. What's the question? It's not going to have anything to do with the Beatles or Yellow Submarines. It'll have to do with yellow.
Or submarines. Yeah.
Or submarines.
I was going to ask a question about submarine sandwiches trivia, but no. I went more normal on this one, sort of.
I got so excited. I thought I would know the answer. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you will. When the soundtrack album was released months later, Side A featured 6 Beatles tracks, while Side B had George Martin's orchestral score for scenes in the film. Which of these was not a George Martin composition on the soundtrack? Was it
wow. Okay.
A, Sea of Green, B, Sea of Holes, C, Sea of Monsters, D, Sea of Time?
One is not the right answer.
Not on the soundtrack
Does
album.
that mean that the other three were not there? That can't be possible. There weren't 3 songs or 4 songs that were Sea of. Forgive me for questioning the question master, but that doesn't make sense to me.
One of these was not, only one of these was not on the side B.
So you're saying that on side B, there were 3 other songs that began Sea of something.
Yes, that is what he is saying.
That is what he is saying. Okay, makes no sense to me at all. Okay.
I didn't make the album. Okay.
Holes were very important, so I'm going to go with would be Sea of Green, and what else? Sea of Green, Holes.
Monsters, Time.
I'll say Monsters. And it would be my final guess.
Oh, well, then I'll just go. Well, Leslie Hoban Blake, I'm afraid that was a monstrous answer because Sea of Monsters is one of the I'll call them songs, even though they're more orchestral soundtrack compositions. I'm going to roll the die. Come on, do it. Hello, there we go. We come up with the number 5, which is between Ann and Leslie. So Ann, you get to try and steal this question. Which of the following was not a George Martin composition that was on the soundtrack album to Yellow Submarine? Was it A, Sea of Green, B, Sea of Holes, or D, Sea of Time?
B, Sea of Holes. My final answer.
Okay. Well, you got some of the question right, but not the whole question right. So I'm afraid, Ann, no, that is not the correct answer. David Sheward, guess what? You get to steal. You got 50-50 shot. You'll get it. I'll just give it the 2 damn points.
Okay. Well, it's Time or what?
It's Time or Green.
Okay. I think Sea of Green is one of the lyrics in the song Yellow Submarine. I think it's in there someplace. I think it's Sea of Time. Is not.
It is not.
But I think Sea of Time is not.
What time is it? It's time to get the wrong answer. David, you had the right idea. Sea of Green is in the song Yellow Submarine, but it's not a song. It's not a George Martin thing.
Okay.
It was on the soundtrack. So
you got us. You got us.
Yay.
That's
See, Leslie, aren't you so glad that I actually stayed with Yellow Submarine and the Beatles?
I'm really glad you didn't say orange. Yes, orange.
There actually was a game show called Stump the Stars.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was basically charades, and you would.
I remember that.
And people would mail in little phrases and jokes and puns, and they'd have to do charades to act it out. And if you stumped the stars, you got like $5 in the mail or something.
Now, see, if I were doing that show, I would be like, "Oh, stump the stars! You just take a chainsaw and cut their legs off at the knee and see how they manage."
And then that was followed by Hump the Hostess and Get the Guests.
There you go. Well, I'll be. Okay, well,
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
Oh,
And you are the stillest person.
I just got that.
You just got that?
I got the Albie reference.
Yes, you of all people just got that. And you are the stillest person. I thought for a minute your screen froze a couple of times. You don't, I mean, now you're very animated. You're really just very still and intent. It's amazing.
Well, she's a dancer.
I'm carefully listening.
Yeah.
I see that.
I have my sympathy if you're carefully listening to this show. But ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Ann, I'm glad you're listening because this question does go to you to end round 3. Yeah, so you're definitely ready. You're poised. You're poised for this multiple choice question. The year 1996, July 17th was the date. TWA Flight 800 explodes over Long Island today, killing all 230 people on board. Only a few years later, TWA went bankrupt, although JFK did open a TWA hotel in 2019, go figure. But of all of the following, which is the only airline still flying in 2021? Okay. Is it A, Tower Air, B, Midway, C, Avianca, or D, Swiss Air?
D, Swiss Air.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, my final answer.
Well, just like Swiss cheese, your answer is full of holes there. That is not the correct answer. Swiss Air did fold about 20, 30 years ago.
Oh.
I actually flew Swiss Air. It was a great airline. But we're going to roll the die.
I actually know the answer then. If it's not that one, I had a backup. It's probably the backup, but I can't say it.
Oh, no, don't, because we get a steal opportunity. Here we go. We got the number 4, which is Ann, but it's closest to David Sheward.
Okay.
I don't mean to go.
I'll drink to that.
A matinee, a pinter play. Okay, so the choices are
Tower Air, Midway, and Avianca. One of these is still
Avianca. Which of these 3 is still flying?
Yes.
Well, Avianca sounds it's like it's the misbegotten Trump child or something. So that naturally would go bankrupt right as soon as it got off the ground. Well, maybe it is. That's just crazy. Avianca.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you are flying high, David Sheward. Nothing to do with Trump. Avianca was actually founded in Colombia in 1919, and they are still flying today. Midway in Chicago went out in 1991,
interesting.
And Tower Air's gone. So Avianca still in the air. David Sheward with Boxcar Double, or is Boxcar 6 or 12? Do you guys know?
I think 12. It's 2 6s.
Well, it's 2 6s.
Well, this is about one of the highest scores you ever had, David Sheward, with 12 points.
Thank you.
You win. But we're going to play the tiebreaker anyway. This is why I asked you.
Well, wait, is that it? We don't. Ann doesn't get another question.
That wasn't.
Oh, that was the steal. I'm sorry, that was the steal. Okay.
Let me get a pen.
I'm trying to help you there, Ann.
I was going to say Avianca.
Pencil and paper now.
That was my second choice.
We need a pen and paper, a pencil and paper.
Your pencil and paper, or scrap, or whatever.
Does Ann, do you have?
Tiebreaker.
Yes, I have.
She has.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, Ann, congratulations. You came in second. So, well done. considering you're up against David Sheward and Leslie Blake, that's pretty damn.
I don't recall my ever not having at least one right answer on the show.
Well, that's why you got to get this tiebreaker right, because you
So-
could, and you.
I don't. Yeah, there are no points attached to the tiebreaker, darling. I know better.
How many
He's so nice. He pats me on the head when I get low scores.
How many roses in a dozen?
How many what?
Yes, right.
How many roses in a dozen?
Right. How many eggs in a crate? Right.
Read the card. Read the card. Okay, here we go. This is a tiebreaker question. I will read it twice. I'll read it once, then you write your answer. I'll read it again, and when I say 3, 2, 1, you will take your piece of paper and hold it up in front of the lens of your computer or of your camera so that we all see it at the same time. And that way, this is a fair way to do it. Okay, we all ready?
Yes.
Okay. Tiebreaker, the year 1917. Born in Lima, Ohio, or maybe it's Lima, Ohio. I've never been. Okay, Lima.
Yeah.
Born in Lima, Ohio, today is this groundbreaking comedian. Although her style was all her own, many of her jokes about her fictitious husband actually sprang from her almost obsessively following the comic strip The Lockhorns. Name that funny person who made her TV debut on You Bet Your Life.
Born 1917?
Correct.
I know who it is, and I can't remember her name. God damn it.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to write it down anyway.
No, I was writing down Cole
Ready?
Porter until you said she. So
Okay.
no, that's not a hint. I
He was born in
can't think of her
Peru,
name.
not Lima.
Are we ready to hold it up or no?
No, yeah, I'll read the question again and give a 3, 2, 1, but I need everybody to have written an answer. So
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I'm so confused. I apologize. I confused myself.
well, I do that all the time. 1917 was the year. Born July 17th, 1917 in Lima, Ohio. Today is this groundbreaking comedian. Although her style was all her own, many of her jokes about her fictitious husband actually sprang from her almost obsessively following the comic strip The Lockhorns. Name that funny person who made her TV debut on You Bet Your Life. Okay, do we all have answers written? Okay.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, let's see them. Okay. I see Roz, is that Roz Chast? Fang's wife, Phyllis Diller. Leslie, you have the right idea. David,
No, that's as close as I could get to Phyllis Diller.
Carol Channing. No, it's not Carol Channing either.
Fang's husband, Fang's mother, is so fat that when she sits around the house, she sits around the house.
Saying Phyllis Diller. Yeah.
Couldn't think of Phyllis Diller's name to save my soul. I was so Cole Portered in my head, I couldn't get out of it. Couldn't get out of my own way. Oh
He
well.
was born in Peru, wasn't he? Not Lima.
No, he was born in Lima, Ohio. No, or Nebraska.
He was in
but it was
Peru,
Lima.
Indiana, wasn't he? Or Peru?
I thought it was Peru, Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Peru and not Lima. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I guess you'll have to peruse his biography.
I got to get some sleep, guys. I really got to get some sleep.
I thought you sleep through the show, Leslie. That's what all my listeners do, or viewers. Anywho, congratulations to David Sheward with 12 points plus the tiebreaker, winning our yesterday quiz on this Saturday, July 17th. Let me thank so much for such a fun time. All these wonderful people. First of all, Ann Greyson, what a great sport. And you got on the board with 2 points. So Ann, please remind everybody, you have AnnSGreyson.com is your website for all things Greysonable, which is kind of cool.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate
good. I'm glad you enjoyed. And one of the cool things, and I wish I'd done this, although my show is kind of like this. If you go to her website, you've been doing this like photo portrait thing, where you take a picture of yourself like once a month, every month, and you've been doing this since like 2016 or 15, or how far back do you go?
Well, maybe every 3 months.
Or something like that. But there's dozens of photos, and it's kind of tracking just, who you are.
Activities, yeah. All my activities over the years, since I was a baby, probably. But I took off the baby pictures.
Oh, why'd you take off the baby?
Back to baby.
Oh.
Well, I can't fit it right now, but I may try to add it later.
Yeah, you gotta add the baby picture.
Facebook or Instagram?
Oh, my personal website.
Oh, your personal website. Okay.
which is
I'm actually on Twitter though, but not Facebook. I'm on Twitter.
I've been kicked off Twitter and I can't get back on. So
how'd you get kicked off Twitter?
it isn't. I wish it was for what I had written about the orange pumpkin. It was not for any of that. It was because I got a new phone and it didn't transfer the app over. And when I tried to get in, they thought I was somebody else, and now I can't get back in. And they blocked it permanently. So I thought, you know what? Without him in office, I don't need to have it. It was a pressure valve for me. I wrote every day, and I let a little of that anxiety loose. I feel much less anxious these days. I have only COVID to worry about now. I don't have
that's the Delta thing. That's no big deal.
You know,
By the way,
yeah,
speaking of Leslie,
I'm starting to get anxious again. Sorry.
So Ann Greyson is AnnSGreyson.com, where you can find out about when Gotham Kitty is officially coming out. Plus, you can get her other 2 books, Never Dead and The Lonely Vampire. So, Ann, thank you for being with us.
Ann, are these young adult books or are these adult books?
They're adult books, but they can appeal to young adults as well. There's many,
Okay.
all the different ages of the characters.
Okay, cool.
And babies, too. They're very popular with babies. Leslie Hoban Blake, do you have any...
vampire baby who has no teeth? That would be a really incredible idea, right? Never mind.
Or would have teeth, and the baby suckles. It kind of, all the women who are nursing become zombies. I've given you an idea, Ann. There you go.
Never Dead Part 2.
Yeah. The Rattler. So, Leslie, do you have a new critics circle?
No. We got the last one up finally, and they showed it again last night because they just whatever you had they have in the tube is what they show. So it's called Critic Circle, and it's Charles Gross and I have been partners for many years on a critical show, and now without any theater to be at, we rearranged this into a show about what people did during the pandemic, and now we're talking about the theater coming back, or as Charlie says, no, really, because it's been coming back and then it doesn't. And so we'll see. I'm still taking a wait and see attitude,
In terms, even for September because of Delta?
With this wild card variant, you can't predict anything. I mean, they have given dates to all the shows that are going to open. I be gesund. I wish them a good life. I hope it happens, but I have no faith in anything anymore.
Not even.
Hey, Wendy Williams. Besides you, if Wendy Williams will not get vaccinated and will go on television saying she will not get vaccinated during this, then all bets are off. I mean, someone who's right in the public eye and lives in New York, and you think would know better, and so it irks me.
Yeah, please. What?
What was my lunch with Wendy Williams?
Yeah. When would you ever get near Wendy Williams? That
I was looking for something. I watched the show. Yeah. I like the show in the morning. It's mindless enough that I can watch the beginning part with the hot topics and that kind of thing. I enjoy. Then I don't like the rest of it. But because she's crazy, and I like that. But now I find out she's really crazy because they broadcast her. I was looking for something online, and I found a snippet of something where she was on Dr. Oz. And he was saying, well, you're vaccinated, of course. And she did this diatribe about, not only am I not, I never will be. We don't know what it is. And I mean, if she'd said because of the Tuskegee people, I would have thought, all right, there's a rationale. But she just kept saying, I don't believe the science. And I'm going like, what is wrong with you? There wasn't a rational reason.
I saw that she was on Dr. Oz, and he kept saying, get off me, you're so heavy. It's like, okay. So finally she got off Dr. Oz. But David Sheward, what have you written this week?
Well, actually I'm on vacation, so I haven't written too much, but I am updating whenever there's an announcement about Broadway shows or what's happening. I try to update the information. So I did write an article about the fact that 2 shows from off-Broadway last season before the shutdown are moving to Broadway from the Vineyard Theater season are moving to Broadway. Is This a Room and Dana H. And they're going to be performed in repertory. And I also talked about Douglas Carter Bean's new play, which sounds very interesting, called Fairy Cakes. which is going to have Mo Rocca and Julie Halston.
I know. That's very exciting.
And Brooks Ashmanskas. And I'm very excited about Dana H. and Is This a Room moving to Broadway, because if you were to ask me what shows are going to move to Broadway from off-Broadway, those would be the last one I'd ever pick, because they're very.
What about Hot Chicken Wing King? Would you have thought Hot Chicken Wing King would win the Pulitzer and then go to Broadway? I mean, life is. But I have a quick question for both.
That show is not going to Broadway, but that show.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
When did they announce that?
It's in the list I have.
Yeah. Are you sure you're not mixing up with Chicken and Biscuits?
No, it's Hot Chicken King Wing.
Chicken Wing King.
Hot Wing King.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. It was at the. It was a.
Yes, that won the Pulitzer Prize.
Playwright.
No, it was at the.
Biscuits and Hot Chicken Wing King.
The Hot Wing King was at Signature Theater.
Right. Yes, that's correct.
It was on 42nd Street.
As part of the Katori Hall season.
Right. And it's going to
we
Broadway.
went off into this whole tangent, Anne.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
I can't believe that's the name of a Broadway show.
What?
I can't believe that's the name of a Broadway show. The name
Well, it will be. It was an off-Broadway show, but it will now be a Broadway show.
Why did I think that it was? I'm sorry. I think you're right, David. I had the idea that it was
Chicken and Biscuits.
Yeah, Chicken and Biscuits is coming to Broadway.
But the other one was in my list that we used. I don't remember where we got it from, but it was in our list. There's a new list in the Times as of yesterday. I haven't really followed through with it, but maybe it was going to go and then it didn't get the money or something. But it was listed.
Was it Popeye's Fried Chicken?
Yeah.
No, it's a guy in the Midwest. It's a Canadian
the
guy
next
in the
one.
Midwest.
Yes, Popeye the movie was one of Robert Altman's biggest financial hits in his entire career.
Starring Robin Williams, right?
Right.
Robin Williams. Oh, do I get a point for that?
Yes,
We have a new Dr. Sue. Hey, Ann.
And Shelley Duvall, another point.
Right, as Olive.
Yes, I love Shelley
Wait.
Duvall.
Yeah, I thought that movie was a big flop. It was a hit.
But in
It made
residuals
money.
and in video sales and in
It was a
TV
critical flop. It was the critics hated it.
But
and
I didn't realize it was okay.
In retrospect, I love it.
yeah, I think it was his most successful film because it became a big kids thing. And Linda Hunt and Bill Irwin were in the ensemble.
Whoa, cool.
I had a quick question apropos this Broadway thing. Does your publication have an updated list of press agents, Dave?
Thank you for asking. Does Performing Arts Insider have a list of press agents that is updated every month? Why, Leslie Hoban Blake, it surely does. It's
updated
of every issue. Yes, it is.
Okay, because I've been I sent stuff out and it started to come back to me that those people are not where they were anymore. Because people like people at Bon O'Brien Brown, there are people missing. Matt Ross has put up a note saying he's looking for new people. So that's why. By the way, you reminded me, you held up Restoration. The cover says Restoration. So I went to the site to watch your play.
Yes.
And I screwed up and it came up private. No, it said private film clip or something. So that may have been what was public. What Joyce said to me, he sent me the same. Do you have a copy of the script or did you have a recording of it so I can finally watch it? Because I really would like to watch it. This was a bad week for me.
Well, thank you. What Leslie's referring to and what I was talking about when I first started the show was my play, my one-act comedy, Restoration Playhouse, was part of the Red Bull Theater Company Short New Play Festival, which happened live on Monday, and then they kept the video of all the plays, the actual event, on their site. There was a YouTube link, actually. They were supposed to have stopped it Friday morning. I don't know if they did or not.
Well, it said Friday night, and I went, and Friday night it wasn't there, and that's what you get for leaving things till the last minute. I'm sorry.
What was very nice, I didn't get a chance to say this before, is I think they liked the show a lot at Red Bull. Good. If you go to the Red Bull Facebook page, I'm
not on Facebook.
But I don't know if you need to be. If you go to if you try and go Red Bull Theater Company, or maybe even their regular website, and you click, or maybe they'll send you the link, they excerpted my play from
Did they?
the 10 minutes that were my play, and did it like sort of as a separate thing, which may still be there for everybody. So
Okay.
it jumps to some kind. In fact, I'm going to try and find it now because this is the most important part of the day for me right here. RedBullTheater.com. I'm going to them. If I click on, let's see, can I still watch the
But
live
if not,
feed?
may I have a copy of the script to read?
Well, I will also tell you. Yeah, you can't. Their website, they no longer have the stream up, but I think their Facebook page does. You and everybody else, if you go to davelefkowitz.org or com, davelefkowitz.org, you can read hundreds of my pieces of writing, including hundreds of theater reviews, one-act plays, full-length plays, song lyrics. It's all there. And if you go into the search box and you type Restoration Playhouse, Leslie, it'll bring up my play, and if you click like the button that says download, it will be in like nice script format. Like
Lovely. Thank you. I felt so badly or bad. I don't know.
You felt bad. Yeah.
What's correct? Thank you, David. I knew I'd get a correction. That's why I threw it out there. Anyway, thank you. I'm sorry about missing it. And Joyce, thank you for trying to get it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it to me. I just had a really
About
rough
your
week.
publication, David, is it available at the new drama bookshop?
Well, it's so kind of you to keep asking these questions. Yes, I'll do a promo. Performing Arts Insider since 1944, The Bible of Broadway, available as single copies at the brand revised new drama bookshop. Also, of course, available by subscription if you go to performingartsinsider.com. So, yes, we will be updating the press. Thanks for the reminder of updating the press list. And also, a list of Broadway and off Broadway day by day, things opening, closing, starting previews. Every Broadway and off show with incredibly detailed listings. And so we're going to actually be working on the new issue this weekend for the for the August issue. It's a monthly publication. It's pricey. I'm sorry about that, but it's a journal. But yeah, please do subscribe. And if you want to save some money, we can just send you the PDF rather than the hard copy, and it'll save you some bucks. But all the info is at performingartsinsider.com. Well, thank you for asking about that. Asking about Restoration Playhouse.
When I'm back in New York, I will drop by and pick up a copy.
Please do. If you like it, subscribe. I would really love that.
Have you been there yet, Dave? David,
No,
have you been there yet?
I haven't been there yet.
No, neither have I. What disturbs me is the destruction of all those books that David Corrins did to make that swath of books. No, I sold when I moved, I sold a shelf that was 22 feet long. I'm not exaggerating. I measured it, of all of my drama reference books, because I didn't use them anymore. Obviously, you go to Google. So I sold these books, which were worth a couple of $1,000, given what I paid for them originally, for $200 to the drama bookshop. And I said, you have to take them all. I said, you can't cherry pick, take them all. So I'm imagining that all the ones they didn't want are part of what's in that spot, Well, I feel very honored to be there, but I hate the destruction of books. So it's a fine line between the two,
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, when we moved from Colorado, Joyce took all my playbooks and theater books and gave them to the university library.
I donated.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so much of my stuff at the University of Southern Ohio. That thing, there's that Lawrence and Lee archive.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a place to leave my books. Also, I culled mine down. I called them until I have just what I want.
Why did you call them?
My bookshelf.
Wait, hello, it's Leslie's Books. Hello. Yeah. Okay.
But when my father died, he had an incredible library and art, theater and film library, and it was the wrong time. The guy at the Strand bookstore actually said to me, "I know a lot of people just died at the same time." It was 2013, had nothing to do with COVID. He said a lot of people, with theater collections died at the same time. We're just not taking any more books.
Wow.
I went, okay. That's why I gave a whole shelf full of things to the coffee house. Remember where we went for that party? We had a drama desk party at the coffee house on 44th Street.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I gave them a complete shelf of the illustrated motion picture books from the 20s, silent movies.
Oh, wow.
Every movie had a book with illustrations from the movie.
Oh my God.
So I didn't give them all of the ones I had. My father had a gigantic collection of those. Half of those went to the Cecil B. DeMille Museum, which no longer exists. I think it burned down, or that's what happens. You think you have a permanent place for something, you buy a bench for somebody with a name tag, and the theater, what?
Nothing lasts.
Nothing.
No, and I know the York Theater Company. I donated a chair, and I'm sure that when the flood came, I'm sure my chair was among the things that got ruined. That's the way life is. If I'm old enough I should know that by now, and I still think things are going to be there. I'm sorry, I'm elongating this. I know you want to go. Okay.
Well, nothing lasts, but this program, like all the other Dave's Gone By, you'll find on davesgoneby.com. So you can always come back and watch David Sheward, Leslie Hoban Blake, Ann Greyson playing the game and being such wonderful guests on Dave's Gone By on this Saturday morning. Thank you all so much for being with us. Just been wonderful. Thanks.
I do not know for sure about this coming Saturday. I'll drop you a note and we'll see what happens.
I'm still on vacation, but I will probably be here.
Yay! I'll let you know what time. I will let you. So I'm going to let you each. Well, you're very, very welcome, Ann. I just hit rename instead of remove. Bye, David Sheward.
It's fun meeting you. I will look up your books. Oops. Well, now that he's gone, no.
And Ann, thank you again. It's just a delight to have you here. So thanks so much for being with us. And then, don't report. Come on, why is it being so recalcitrant?
It doesn't want me to go.
Here we go.
It wants me to stay.
We'd love you to stay, but good.
Is play day because of Restoration Playhouse? Is that?
Yeah, Joyce made this for me on the day that on Monday.
Such a good wife. I hope you appreciate that woman, but I know you do.
Tell her what the things mean.
Oh yeah, since you're here, I'll show you that. It's kind of hard to see, but under the P, she has a happy, sad, a comedy tragedy mask. That little yellow thing. Or, let me just. I'll hold them to I can do it this way.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's in color yet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we got the L, which is what is that? That's a ticket.
It's a ticket. Did you? I hope you took a picture of it so that you have. Oh well, you have it on.
This is a picture.
This is a picture. Okay, right.
Flowers for my opening night.
Look at that! Oh my goodness.
She drew these. Look at these. This is I think this is the playbill or the.
We don't say playbill.
Yes, program W show. Yes.
Okay. Show. And then bravo, it's just the hearts and bravo.
Look at that.
And then the Zoom room, because that was the rehearsals. It was open by Zoom.
Right.
As you'll see.
Right.
And then finally, why? Because we like you. And that's the script.
We like you. We really like you. Listen, it's interesting. I can't make up my mind whether Joyce is a better wife or my son or my daughter-in-law is a better wife. But you two are among the best wives I know. Just so you know, Joyce.
Leslie, I beat him when he's off camera, so I'm probably your daughter-in-law.
I was going to say, amongst all your other attributes, which are many, that was not the one that you want to be known for.
You don't want to see
as Dave's wife. That is not where that goes. or Fang's wife, whichever. Right? But listen, no, seriously, I will drop you a note about what's going on with.
Absolutely. Let me know as soon as you can. Please watch my play.
Will do. No. And my building has just completely shut down all the programs. They've hired 4 or 5 people to run everything. They don't really know what they're doing. The pool is open, which is my only, the gym itself is open. As long as the pool is open, that's why I live here, is for the pool. But it was so nice. They were doing, some interesting things, and it's not. And before them, the company that had it before that was always doing things. But then the pandemic came, so.
Yeah. Now you're just treading water. Yes, a little swing.
Yes. Ha. Very funny. I will let you go. Stay safe.
Me too.
Oh, Dave, do you know? Now I know you're not old enough for this to be a problem for you, but no. Well, you'll hear why. Do you know about the change in the healthcare program for the UFT?
No, I'm not in the New York City school system, but what?
Oh, you're not. Never mind that. Well, it might. Are you a municipal worker? You took a civil service test, right?
I am a civil service. Yes.
Yes. Well, civil service is municipal employee.
Yeah.
So Okay, all municipal employees, not just teachers, but police, but cops, anybody. They
Yeah.
started with the retirees, and they're changing their health care from straight Medicare to a Medicare Plus program, an Advantage program, which is, so I'm going to talk to someone I know who actually brokered this deal. I have to find out exactly what I'm going to lose. I mean, I've read everything and it won't go through.
Yeah.
But it means that if they do it for the seniors, then they will come back and then they will change it over. They will find some HMO to take the place of everybody's, whatever everybody has now. I had my, we could do this. We don't need to do this on your show. I'm just saying, look it up, find something about it. I can send you what I have, but what I have is
I'll
for
also
retirees.
contact my union. I mean, we have a union.
Yes, contact your union and find out if I'm sure if you're a municipal employee, it affects you, but it doesn't start yet. It starts in 2021 for seniors, and I'm sure they're just going to work their way down to, I retirees.
By the time it affects me, really, if it's like 2024, I'll be dead. So it's completely fine.
You think we're going to last that long? Oh, you optimist, you cockeyed optimist, you.
And it won't be. I know the Gamma variant will get me. I'll make it through Delta, but Gamma, that's just gonna, yeah.
By the way, I meant to mention it while we were on the air. Have you looked? Do you get Apple TV?
No, I do not.
Do you have a Fire TV or a Roku or any of those things?
No,
you don't
we
have
have a regular computer.
Alan Cumming is. Oh, you don't have a TV set at all?
Not really. No, I watch everything on computer.
You watch everything. Well, there is an app. There's an Apple app that you can put on that if you want to, and you can get it free for a week. As long as you turn it off at the end of the week.
Yeah.
There's this thing called Schmigadoon.
Oh, I heard that's really funny.
And it's Alan Cumming and Kristen Chenoweth and all kinds of people who weren't working, so they got them on that. So I'm just mentioning it en passant. I'm gonna.
Oh, you haven't seen it
No,
yet?
I finally found the place. I have a Fire TV, but it took me forever to figure out how to find the Apple app on it. I found it, but I don't want to turn it on until I'm ready to watch it because I want to turn it off at the end of the week.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Disney, so I could watch Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but I did not want to stay on that.
And did she say, "Hey, stop looking at my ass"?
She said, "Stop it." She told me to stop it personally. Yes, she did.
Well, we're going to stop this now. Leslie Hoban Blake.
Okay. Bye, Joyce. Lovely to hear you.
Leslie, good to see you. Take care.
Happy week to you, Leslie. Thanks for being in the Daverhood here on Dave's Gone By Live on this Saturday morning or Saturday. Yeah, it's still Saturday morning. This is so cool. It's about 20 after 11 here Eastern time. We were watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, our 807th episode of the program. We've been calling it Amazing Grace in honor of our guest, Ann Greyson. But thank you also to Leslie Hoban Blake and David Sheward for being with us, too. So, yeah, we have still some stuff to do. We haven't even gone through Greeley Crimes and Old Times yet. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I'm going to talk about, wanted to talk a little bit about the air fryer. I was talking about my show. I don't know, I think I've beaten my show into the ground. I did want to tell people if they can still see Restoration Playhouse on,
You can.
It's still there? Let's take a look. Yep, you can. So that's excellent. We can. So if you go to, if you have Facebook, if you're able to go.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah. Joyce is putting the link in the chat. It's a YouTube link, right? That they link to?
I'm gonna, it's red, let's see. If they just go to Red Bull Theater, they'll find it. It's the big thing there. I think I can link it in the chat. I think I can embed it probably. Excellent.
I'm gonna try. And we'll also remember maybe to email it to Leslie or text her somehow so she can see it. Anywho, so yes, the show ended up going very, very well indeed. I think like the almost 4,000 people who watched it, who watched the breakout of my play, that Red Bull Theater. I certainly thank Nathan Winkelstein and Jesse Berger and the folks at the Red Bull. And that I forget his name, but the tech guy was really nice and really cool.
What I love, they had a Zoom manager.
Yeah. They took this thing seriously because you think, well, it's no big deal. You just get a bunch of actors. They're not memorizing the show. They're just reading it. You put them in little boxes, but it...
I linked the YouTube. I'll put the YouTube link separate too.
Thank you, yeah. you figure what does it take? But it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and some money in order to make sure the tech goes well, that the schedules align, that everybody's on the same page, and they even sent me an honorarium, which is really, really nice. So thank you to Red Bull. If you missed Restoration Playhouse,
It's in the chat.
fine. Go to the chat on this program right now. Joyce just put it in. Or you can go to redbulltheater.com and click on like the first thing that you'll see, and it'll bring you to my play still showing. They still have it. You don't need Facebook to do it. Or read my play at my website, davelefkowitz.org. If you want to contact me directly, davesgongby@aol.com is the way to do that. davesgongby@aol.com. And my Twitter feed is RadioDave2. Radio Dave, the number 2. Well, let's get on with the program. I want to talk, we'll get to the air fryer in a little bit, but I'm feeling criminal. Are you feeling a little bit of criminality, ladies and gentlemen? Because, every week we go to lovely Greeley, Colorado, although it's not Lima, Ohio, but Greeley, Colorado, where the Greeley Tribune is the newspaper. Used to be a daily, now it's 4 times a week in hard copy, but daily or hourly on the web. Greeley Tribune has 2 wonderful columns that they do every week, and they're based on real, actual public records, public things. One of them is called Coplog, which has to do with people noticing strange things going on in their neighborhoods and calling the cops, and the dispatcher has to take these things, many of which are unusual. Plus, 100 years ago, our friend of the Daverhood, Mike Peters, goes through the newspapers from 1921 and picks out the weirdest, funniest, most nostalgic and goofy items that were written in the paper 100 years ago. We mix these up together and we call what we get Greeley Crimes in Old Times. La 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 la, fiddly indeed we. Yes, Greeley Crimes and Old Times, live on this Saturday morning. It is July 17th. So are you ready? Are you ready to have some...
I was spending the time, so my mom needs to pop a ice pack, one of those cold packs.
Yeah.
But she's too, she doesn't have enough strength to, you have to, it has that core and you feel like you're ripping it apart. So she's afraid to rip that apart and do it, so we couldn't get the ice that I was trying to coach her through.
Where's your dad? He can.
Yeah, we realized you have to shake down the crystals to the bottom and do it. But now he's down in the basement doing like work stuff, so she can't walk down there again.
Oh, for God! Can she use her good foot and step on it?
No, not you can't step on it. You have to choke it. It's like squeeze it like you're choking it. And so
she gave me the same advice on our honeymoon.
I'm telling her, pretend you're like choking something and like choke it, but she needs someone to hold it while she chokes it.
Yeah, she said the same thing on our honeymoon. But ladies and gentlemen,
So I told her to call me if she can. Annette's going to come, and I said, I said, if you learn how to do it, don't just let her do it for you. You have to try one there with her, so that you can do it, because she has 8 of them.
Well, wait. Doesn't she have like a bag of frozen vegetables in the freezer?
No, but it's not. It doesn't stay cold long enough.
For 15 minutes, it stays nice and frozen.
Ice packs are better. They're much better because it's better.
Yeah, but if she can't get the ice pack on her foot, at least she has something.
Yeah, no, she does. She has something in the interim. But
good.
I said once Annette does it with her, then Mom should do another one with Annette, so she knows how to do it when Annette's not there.
Right,
She needs to get that feeling of it, because it feels like you're rupturing it. And I said to her, the first time I tried to do it, I couldn't do it. I was so upset. I was mad. And then once I learned how to do it, I knew it. It's just a weird...
I know.
It's not intuitive. So...
Anyway, that's why she fell for the leader of the ice pack. Thank you very much. Greeley Crimes and Old Times here with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce, with the sound effects.
And I don't really beat you, David. We should say that.
No, she does. You spank me occasionally, but that's
You're a freak.
sort of a mutual thing. Anywho,
You're such a freak.
Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Let's do some crime, ladies and gentlemen. A caller.
Wait. Uh-oh, where's my...
They're right there.
No, hold on. I got this.
Oh, she's also got the... Oh, I better get that. Hello? A caller on 6th Street said she received papers that smelled weird. She thinks something was on them, and from smelling them, she believes she received a meth high.
What?
Yeah, well, yeah. She said that her paper smelled weird, and
Which her newspaper?
yeah, or some kind of papers.
Maybe
That's
her rolling papers.
that's what I'm thinking. So yes, these are again these. They call the cops. They call the dispatch of the police department and
If
say,
you think that you're getting high from paper, the last people you should call is probably the dispatch. Just saying.
I know.
Look who I posted the soul dancing smile.
"Oh yay, thank you." A woman sitting outside. So this is a different sound effect here. Ooh. Guess where she was? It's half of the vortex.
8th and 8th?
On 8th Avenue, it wasn't 8th Street though, but on 8th Avenue, said that, quote, she saw a big shadow of darkness coming at her.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Big shadow. It's like something out of Ann Greyson stories here.
Was she the one who was smelling her paper?
And then another woman
Yes.
near 35th Avenue called to report that she was driving her truck and she was being followed by...
A squirrel?
No,
Chipmunk? Chicken?
no.
Bear? Bee? Cow? Dog?
The Man in the Moon. You think she was carrying a lot of papers in her trunk? The Man in the Moon was
There's a lot
followed.
of papers going down in Greeley.
Yeah.
Greeley town.
Now there's a caller on 9th Street. Oh, I better get that. Hello? A caller on 9th Street. Something wrong with this phone. Hello, caller! On 9th Street reporting a man in the middle of the street doing martial arts with a shovel. Yeah. That's I don't know what color belt that is. It's a fuchsia belt.
If you're gonna do martial arts,
Yes.
I think having a shovel is very good. I mean, Bruce Lee had to start with something. Not everybody has like the latest gear.
Yeah.
And a shovel's, as long as he doesn't hurt himself. But you could if it's rusty, you could give yourself tetanus.
That's true. That's true.
That's kind of dangerous. So now that I think about
I don't know. I would try. I think if I wanted to do martial arts with a shovel, I would dig it. Thank you. Get it? Dig it? Okay. Anywho, let's go to some old time stuff. These are items that appeared in the newspaper in the Greeley Tribune Republican back in 1921. An army of grasshoppers. 15.
Where's that one?
No, we need an insecty thing. Ooh.
Oh wait, I got one.
Here we go.
Wait.
Oh, there we go. That's good. An army of grasshoppers, 15 miles wide and 20 miles deep, is invading Colorado. The county farm agency will distribute 2 tons of grasshopper poison to farmers to stop the spread. They're now between Pueblo and Colorado Springs and moving north at a mile a day. Did you know there was such a thing as grasshopper poison?
I know there's grass that they have a plague of them, but that's sad.
But aren't they good, or is that mantises?
I
Or
had
manti.
a cousin who painted them. They were beautiful. She painted those darning needle, whatever.
Physical ones, where she painted things that look like dragon.
She painted things that look like.
Oh wow.
She did stamping. It was beautiful. I think they're supposed to be like the unicorn, or they're supposed to have some mythic, regenerative, like a phoenix. I think they're supposed to have some sort of positive.
Wait, are you talking about darning needles or grasshoppers?
Dragonfly. Dragonflies have meaning. Let me look.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay.
think dragonflies are supposed to have some sort of.
Really? No, I did not know that.
You're thinking of Spanish fly.
What
What does it symbolize? Here we go.
Joyce is looking up dragonfly.
Oh, okay.
What?
So in Japanese culture, the dragonfly was honored as a symbol of joy, new light, new light, strength, courage, and good luck.
Hmm.
And Lakota people believe that it represents the spirit of illusion, and it involved. It would help soldiers trick enemies on the battlefield. So it's like it's a good omen. It's a good omen.
I literally had no idea about that.
And look
Pretty
at Wikipedia gave me a trivia. How can you tell a dragonfly from a damselfly?
Yeah.
Wings, color, and you pick. It says wings, the color, or damselflies carry a handkerchief. I guess like a damsel.
Oh, that really?
So look at this. So now Wikipedia has questions. You saw that?
No, I
Questions.
didn't. Oh, that's
Yeah.
very.
You could use that for your show, Bobby.
Yeah, it saved me a lot of work during the week. Did you know that near beer was available 100 years ago?
Really?
I thought it was like a relatively new thing for people who don't want to be alcoholics or wanted the flavor, but no.
I thought so too.
There was an item in the paper back in 1921 that Dutch lunch and near beer, non-alcoholic beer, are sure delicious this week at Dinty Moore's Cafe on 823 9th Street. So it's close to the Vortex. That may be why they already had near beer back in the day. They also sell near beer by the barrel for home use. I would love that. I would totally get like a big old barrel of O'Doul's or of Caliber beer from the Guinness people. Good. Speaking of beer, but not near beer, a moonshiner in Denver.
I'm trying to edit my post after I want to
Oh,
put it.
yeah. A moonshiner in Denver got away from police. Let's see if I can get an alarm thing here on this one. Let's see what... Police are very happy at the moment. Let's see. Let's try this one. That's their siren. It's an unusual police force.
Oh,
Well,
wait.
21 years ago.
Wait. Where is it? Where's the
Oh, there we go. That's their usual siren. He got away from police, this moonshiner did.
That was a game. That sounds like a police game.
Yeah. Because the officers chasing him were stopped by another police car. Those officers thought the undercover police car had thieves in it. So the chase started when the undercover officers saw a car drive past them with a 10-gallon jug of moonshine in it. They chased the car, but another police car chased after them. Gunshots were fired by the second car. No one was injured, but the moonshiner got away. Well, they've been moonshiners for many a year. I guess they spent all their money on whiskey and beer. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go elsewhere. Let's get another item that isn't from Greeley. We do this every week. That is odd in the news, but is from far away. In fact, we're going all the way to the Baltics, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what makes that ball tick. Scientists have identified a new species of extinct parasite fungus. How did they find this? It was bursting from the rectum
Yes.
of a 50-million-year-old ant, perfectly preserved
Aunt or uncle?
in amber. No, they didn't find the uncle. They just found the ant. In addition to the bulbous mushroom protruding from the ant's behind, evidence of the freaky fungus can be seen throughout the ant's body. The ant probably died from a fungal infection and was fortuitously fixed in tree resin, which becomes amber. It's the oldest fungal parasite ever discovered in ants. So essentially, the oldest fungal thing we've ever found, 50 million years old, was growing out of the asshole of an ant. I think that's kind of wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. You can go figure they would find this in the Baltic region. And we get to talk about it on Dave's Gone By. Let's do a couple more of Greeley Crimes and Old Times, because then I see another guest wanting to enter the room, and I want to get him on, but I'm going to give it a little time. My cousin Adam is tuning in, but let's finish up the segment before we bring him in.
I found a new way to pop the ice pack. I got it so long.
A caller on 11th Street.
Oh, wait.
Oh. Hello, caller. She reported a man by her house was acting suspicious and wandering... Oh, this is bad. Wandering around Arby's. If they're wandering out, you know they're up to no good. She said he hadn't been in her yard, but she thought he was a registered sex offender.
So, Okay, number one.
What is it, an A on his chest?
You can wander around a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
That's not illegal. Number two, how do you know someone's a sex offender?
Yeah. Well, if they have their dick out, I mean.
but how do you know if someone's a registered sex offender? She'd have to like see the man, find his name, look him up on a registry. I mean, like that's a lot of.
Well, I know wherever I go, I carry an actual photo album of people who are registered sex offenders because I like to keep my anus tight and I don't want to be raped. So if I walk into a Walmart or the supermarket, I scan through all the photos. I look at the people around me. They found they were on the floor. Yeah, somebody knocked them over this morning, and I saw them on the floor. I assume so at some point overnight. Anywho,
I lost my lemons.
Lemon. A woman called to say her son tried to turn himself in for a warrant out for his arrest, but no one accepted him. So she wanted to know how her son was supposed to turn himself in if no one would arrest him.
Can I tell you something, David?
Yeah.
In this society,
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that highly. I think that you would definitely.
Yeah.
You would definitely be able to turn yourself in.
I think it'd be
even
possible.
if you were innocent,
you could go to the police station.
And I think police would definitely accept you and take you.
Yeah. Because many of the moving pictures released lately should not be seen by children, local theaters, this is from 100 years ago, local theaters have considered censoring some of the films. However, they just changed their policy, so the adult films will have age limits. For those pictures, no children under the age of 18 will be allowed in theaters in Greeley. And by the way, when they say adult films, what they're meaning is there's probably a kiss between two characters back in 1921.
David, if you go talk to your cousin, I'm going to go and tell him.
Yeah, I'm finishing up Greeley Crimes at All Times. I want to find a good one, though. I want to find a... I know. Are you ready for an awe alert? Aww. You can just say it with me. You can be like, aww. We used to have an awe sound effect. An awe alert is just a story that makes you go aw. A caller on 4th Street reported... reported a 3-month-old puppy with a bowl stuck around her head. Well, look what the cat dragged in. And that, my friends, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
We do Greeley Crimes and Old Times every week here on Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Leftwitz, and sometimes we get a surprise special guest, as we are at this particular moment, because my cousin Adam Glass, who has been on this show a few times, now I've kept him on wait here for about 5 minutes or so. I hope he knows that he's there he is. Hello, and let's make sure that he's connecting to audio because people go on mute first. So let's make sure. Adam, can you hear me and can I hear you? Let me make sure. No, you're on mute. You're on unmute yourself.
There we go. I'm unmuted.
Hello, Cousin Adam. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you? You're sort of backlit. Maybe you can you angle your chair a little? That's better. That's
not really. You can
nice
see me now.
Kitchen. That's very nice. Where are you?
This is the house in Connecticut.
Woof! I like it. Me like you very much. Oh, good. Yeah,
we did that a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You look fabulous. So what's been new in your life? It's been about a month since we've seen you. So what's going on?
I tried calling him once or twice. You were busy. You have lots of your guests and so on. So it's like I'm watching and then I say, he's too busy. I'm not calling now.
But when I'm doing Greeley Crimes and Old Times, you're like, yeah.
You know what? It happens. I'm in the middle of playing with Charlotte, and yeah, there's an awe. Look at that face. Hello.
I know.
And
Mhm.
yeah, that's Charlotte, my little girl. And I figured let me just give a call. I haven't spoken to you in a month, and I figured I'd say hello to you too and wish everybody well.
Did you watch my play?
I did not get to watch your play, which I wanted to, but unfortunately this has been a really bad week.
Oh, why was been up? Or you just been busy?
But, yeah, just work, and then I'm averaging about 3 hours of sleep a night.
What the?
Yeah.
You install these computer systems and alarm systems and crap like that, but why are you working at 2 a.m? I don't get it.
Well, 2 a.m. is unfortunately, usually 1 a.m, to be fair, is about when I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then I'm up at 4:30 to go back to work. It's just been one of those times, and and 4 different times I tried to go and say I'm gonna watch Dave's play, and
Because
each time I
it's
went,
10 minutes out of your life. You can do it on your coffee break. You know.
and I want to see it, and it's really annoying me because every time I want to stop, I get another phone call. It's like,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
it's 3 hours later, and it's the same problem of you walked into a room knowing what you wanted to do, and you got into the room and you forgot what it was. So I start to get into I'm going to log into, I'm going to watch Dave's film, I want to see this play.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call 3 hours later. I'm like, there was something I was going to do. What the
Yeah.
hell was I going to do?
Yeah, I was gonna
So-
support my cousin. I was gonna, make his day.
You know,
I was gonna be a
is-
good
is-
family member. Yeah.
Is there a way for me to still see it? Because I do want to see it.
I'm very grateful to the Red Bull Theater Company because if you
Right.
go to their, I don't think either their homepage, but more likely their Facebook page, the first thing that they've got posted is just my play alone, which is really kind of
Really?
and you
Wonderful.
click and it brings and that is still there. Or at least it's there.
Red Bull Theater
today.
Company,
Might be
okay.
gone tomorrow. Red Bull Theater Company.
Okay. Well, at the moment, other than Charlotte, I am not being called upon. So after this call, I will go directly there.
Great.
Because until my daughter gets home or what have you,
And how's your daughter? Is it Piper? Is that her name?
yeah, Piper. She's heading back to school next month.
Well, yeah, late
UConn.
August, right? Yeah.
Yep. Late August. So it's her second year of college, and she's
Is she
There
an
you
arts major? I mean,
no. She is, let's see, poli-sci, and at this moment poli-sci and economics, because as she put it, they overlap a great deal in the courseware that you have to take. So it's an organic dual major. She's actually considering a third major of psychology. Please.
Poli-sci, psychology, and what was the other
Yeah.
part?
Economics. So the poli-sci and economics overlap very well. A lot of it she was showing me last weekend, and completely outside of my wheelhouse. And so I was getting educated. Yeah. and then she was explaining to me that's completely doable, and she was very matter of fact about it. And my head is spinning, of course, and I'm just like, yeah, no.
And she's a sophomore, so she has time. She got 3 years. This is the time to make that kind of decision.
Right. Well, she also, I mean, thankfully, like I said, she's smart. So she walked into college with 22 credits already done, because she took 22 credits worth in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ECE, AP, whatever they call it. That's because the school that she's going to in Connecticut has a reciprocal agreement or what have you with UConn. So all the courses that she took
are in Alaska.
Purposely transferred over. Huh?
They're in Alaska?
So, no. UConn. No, not R. Yeah, thank you.
There's
not Y.
Like show business.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
And so they transferred over. So she walked in with almost a full year or close to a full year of credits already under. Yeah. So she's technically, I think she walks in as a second semester sophomore or first semester junior or something or other when she goes.
Because if she's done 22 credits, that's more than like that's more than one semester. Is she graduating early, like 3.5 years instead of 4?
I don't think so. She could, obviously, if she chooses to do over the summer or do what have you. That's up to her. But at the moment, her track is still working toward law school. Which is why she's in the she's in the honors program at UConn, and she's in the pre-law program there. So I know.
So economics.
Well, again, poli-sci, which is what you go toward if you're heading toward law.
Oh, all right.
And All right, and apparently, again,
I don't understand.
I am repeating. I am not stating fact. This is,
Yeah.
I'm relaying information as it was told to me. And then she's
I'm
considering
a
those because
boss. Yeah.
she's always had an interest in psychology. She's loved it for years. She reads all kinds of books on it. So she said, I want to keep as many options open as possible. Let's say I don't do well on the LSATs or whatever the thing is that you take for to enter to law school. I want to have a different direction to take and already have that under my belt to take a different course in case all of a sudden,
Yeah.
law school doesn't appear to be in my wheelhouse all of a sudden. I don't know. And so that's why she's trying to give herself as many avenues reasonably as possible
Yeah.
to look at.
I'll tell you this: when I came out of my mom, when I came out of Brenda Leftowitz, God looked at me and says, "What do you want to be?" And I thought, shrink. And then I was 5'2". I should have probably, rephrased it. Yeah.
I was going to say, the,
Yeah.
phrasing matters.
It do. It do. So what else has been new in your life? What's been going on? You're busy, crazy, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Any funny anecdotes? Any cool stories that happened to you over the past?
Well, I noticed that I noticed that you guys were talking about the guy doing martial arts with the shovel. And I was saying, is that the same guy who went after me in the subway all those weeks ago? And I was
Right.
thinking about,
You told the story about the fella, and he almost attacked me, and then you said, "Don't." And he's like, okay.
I was like, that might be my guy. I was just thinking.
Then he's, you know what? Martial arts has done him very well because that story. Oh, that was a recent story. You're right.
Yes.
He migrated to Colorado. He probably hitched. Instead of holding up a thumb, he just holds up the shovel. It's like, you're going west.
You know what? He could have written on it.
Yeah, absolutely. He got on the subway. He took it as far as he could to Far Rockaway, and then he just hitched.
There you go. He had time. It's been at least what, 8 weeks, 9 weeks? No, actually, it's been probably 4 months. He has time to get to Colorado. There you go.
So, have you been in New York City the last 2 or 3 weeks? Has it gotten more normal?
I'm there every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. There are a great many people there. I don't approve because I didn't miss them.
Well, because everybody was saying that Midtown was turning into a shithole, and it was just homeless and crazies, and now it's commuters and people rushing back and forth.
You know what? It's a relative phrase. What would happen is you would have a corner or a spot of 20 feet, and every news group would focus on that and say, look at how terrible everything is. You walk another 20 feet and everything's perfectly clean. So it was perspective, and of course things were blown out of proportion. Were things not great? Yes. Are there more homeless people and more people panhandling and other things than previously? Potentially, yes. It's certainly relative to the number of other people, there appeared to be more. All right. But now the trains going in much busier. The subways, of course, were never really not busy there, but they're certainly much busier now. And people are back in droves.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd say arguably, I can only base it on what I see with the public transportation and so on. I'd say the city's back up to about 70 to 80% of its normal capacity. Based on what I'm seeing on the trains.
Overburdened because the subways have always been way too many people on them to be comfortable and livable. So I also don't understand this idea of people being on a subway in droves, because if they were driving, they wouldn't be on the subway.
Well, driving on parkways, parking in driveways, so that whole thing. So they never did get it straight, did they?
Are people still forced to wear, or forced? But is everybody on the subway masked? And
on Metro North, they do enforce it. On the subways, they mention it every 3 or 4 minutes. But depending on the people and the time of day, they have them or they don't. And unlike what was happening up to just a handful of months ago, you have fewer people mask shaming at this point. So, unless someone is hacking and sniffling and otherwising, and if the train isn't packed, they're off in their corner, leave them alone. I'm 8 seats away. you know,
Yeah.
never mind, never mind the fact that it's an enclosed car with recycled air. We won't talk about that. In a tunnel, 80 feet underground, you know, moving at 60 miles an hour. No big deal. So, you know, there
And you
are
know that
facts that
person,
go
you're,
ahead.
you're more likely to catch hepatitis from that person than coronavirus, or what's the one
Well,
that's tuberculosis? What's the one that you get from homeless people that's really transmittable? Is it tuberculosis
well,
or?
not, well, it's not hepatitis.
uh,
That's a little more close, but TB, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You
And I
know,
don't even have a
I,
TV anymore. I watch everything on my computer. But
boom. You know, Woody Allen made a whole thing about that.
I missed that.
TB or not TB?
Oh, that's a question. Ha!
Exactly.
Ha!
Consumption. Haha.
Can something be done about that joke? Anyway,
Yes.
so, well, it's good to know. I mean, I still have not been to New York since March of last year. So I'm
The Empire
starting
State Building is still there.
again, oh, that's good to know.
We haven't sold it yet.
That's right. No, this is a horrible thing, but I still think to myself, at some point in the next 10 to 20 years, they'll attack the new World Trade Center. And, it's still a target. They're going to go after it. Not tomorrow, perhaps, but at some point, they're going to want that place again. I don't know.
It does make you wonder. I mean, personally, and please, nobody attack anything. But if you're going to go after a building, could you please go after one of the really ugly ones? Like we have those stupid pencil lipstick buildings in the middle of Manhattan that are just god awful ugly. They've got no character whatsoever.
Hey,
please make them go away.
But instead of being attacked, which would be horrible, maybe it was the same builders that they used in Florida. It's just
now.
Florida architects,
That's it. Well, as it happens, that lipstick building in Manhattan is having issues. They do have it's got too much sway in it, in high wind and so on. I believe they can, I may be incorrect, but I believe they can't occupy the upper floors. There's some issues going on there. Yeah. Yes, there's some stuff going on with that one. And,
I mean, that's a warning. What happened in Florida is a warning to every place that either has earthquakes or is near water to just go through every building that's more than 2 stories and put up pylons. I don't know what to do. But
well, the problem is when you don't make sure that the ground underneath is properly shored up. And the law there, which was rather humorous, was that each building needs to be re-inspected every 40 years. 40. And it was in the middle of being re-inspected when this happened. And I'm like, and then and of course the first reports we heard, there were no issues and there were no reports and there were no violations. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 2015, 2018, 3 days before, with the guys doing the pool, showing video of the holes in the cellar, garage ceilings and everything else. I'm like, I would call those an issue, but maybe that's just me.
But
maybe
how
I'm
were
being
those
picky.
being inspected if it wasn't supposed to be inspected until now? Anyway,
they were. Well, that was the thing. There were violations. There was a tenant in 2015 who had made claims that there were cracks in the facade. There was something that came out in 2018 from an inspection that had happened. There had been a general city inspection, I believe, that had taken place in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, relative to where we are now, that mentioned the building as part of a group of other buildings that there were issues and concerns because, no, take it back. It was 1990s where they said that it was sinking, the one corner of it relative to the others was sinking at a certain rate per year. And you would think that it wasn't a big deal because it was in millimeters. But I did the calculations and I think they're talking about a total of, from this point, a difference of about 3 inches. Now you'd say, well, what's the big deal about that in a building? And say,
ask any girl on her honeymoon. 3 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. But the thing is, if it's a corner that it's a supporting point on the structure, all it has to be is the weak point. And well, that's just enough. I'm sure you saw the video of when this thing came down. There was a video because there was a camera across the way that happened to be pointing at it when it happened, and it was on motion. So it saw, if you zoom in and look at it, you can actually see which corner came down first and actually pulled down the rest of the building.
Wow.
It was very interesting because I saw it and I looked at it several times and went, it's right there. You can see the spot that gave way first.
Well, a weak link in the chain is where you break the chain. You know, the whole
Of
chain
course,
will break, even if.
and they, of course, the entire building was interconnected, and so this one center point pulled down the roofs, and then one section came in, the other section fell in on top of it, and
If you live in a
God
building
help
in
those poor
Florida right
people.
now, are you shitting bricks? I mean, if you were living, if you lived in Florida in one of these probably dozens and dozens of buildings they have down there that were built 40, 50, 60 years ago, are you just shitting bricks every day now? I have to wonder.
I would be, because especially with all of the storm weather that's happened over the last X number of years, and the erosion that's taking place, and again, the sinkholes that have been going on that they find, I don't think enough, and again, I'm not the expert in any of this, but it seems just from extrapolation, 40 years is a little too long to wait, my opinion. And how many times does this kind of thing have to happen before someone else is going to maybe change the law and say, how about every 20 years? Let's try 20 years for a little while.
No, for every 5 years, it's a building. People live it. I'm when people talk about Biden's infrastructure deal, and
Yeah.
and by the way, Trump wanted an infrastructure deal too, and he just never followed up. Biden's doing it, thank goodness. But yes, let's look at these bridges. We kind of know. Are we going to wait until the bridge collapses before we say, people were complaining about this 15 years ago, that this probably is not good, that this needs to be reinforced or rebuilt?
They've been complaining about that for decades across the country, that the infrastructure across the country is failing. And I don't remember what the last thing I read was about the different bridges and roadways across the country, but it was a pretty terrifying number of the things that are not really structurally sound, and we've got a lot of people traveling over them every day.
Yes.
So,
we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm hoping that this bill will have cobblers and shoemakers going to all these tunnels and bridges and train tracks and wherever.
And wouldn't it be nice to get lots of people back to work?
Well, that too. Now, although I wish more things would be working at home, because it isn't necessary that you do, because you're pulling wires and you're drilling holes and doing all this stuff. But a lot of people were called back to work, and they had to be thinking to themselves,
why
4 or 5 days a week? My thing is, I really think America and the world should be on a thing of like 4-day work week, one of those days at home. I think that's fair.
There's one country in Europe, Northern Europe, I believe, one of the Nordic countries, where they all seem to be smarter and healthier, where they several years ago instituted a 4-day work week, and they found that productivity increased significantly because it gave people an extra day to do all those other things that they need to do. And for some reason, people did better at being focused for that period of time.
Yeah.
And now, to me, having people able to work from home, that ability has been around for more than 20 years. But lots of these corporations didn't want to put in the infrastructure, didn't want to make it possible, wanted to be able to maintain this control and so on. Now they found that with a lot of these people, they can work from home. They haven't lost productivity. People, in essence, are making more money because they're staying home. They're not traveling. They're able to put in more effort.
$100 a month on the railroad or the Metro North. Yeah.
And parking and subways and everything else. They can, and these businesses can diminish their footprint, if you will, you have to have insurance for every person who comes into an office and sits there. For every seat, there's an insurance requirement. Yeah. There are all kinds of things where they can diminish cost and improve the functionality and the overall efficiency of a company. And
make everybody happier too. Yeah.
Well, that's the point. A happier employee. Look, if I could actually do my work from home, that'd be a credible savings financially on terms of the traveling and everything else. For me, it's not an option, because everything I do has to be hands-on except for the programming work, which I can do remotely or do ahead of time, then program into a system. But I have to be on site. All those people who have to be hands-on, we've got to be there. For those other people, though, I mean, Dorothy, my wife, she works via remote all the time, and she puts in hours and hours and hours. But again, she's one of those people who's also self-motivated. She doesn't need that office environment. I was reading something very recently. They were talking about the psychology of people and how some of them have been impacted by staying out of their offices, whereas some people love it and love the quiet, have the flexibility with family, with their children, with their pets, and so on, being able to eat better, right? Because they're at home, they're not going for the fast food and what have you. And for other people, they feel isolated. So obviously it's a personality thing, introverts, extroverts.
True. And you have people
There
who are
was,
lazy and take advantage and they don't work a 6 or 7 or 8
yes,
hour day.
exactly. So you do have that issue as well. And yes, there has to be a certain quality control, have to agree on that, because you're getting paid, you should do your job. At the same time, though, there were a few reports that came out, was within the last 2 weeks, from certain companies that started putting out, or maybe it was actually a month ago at this time, a point I'm losing track of time, that we're talking about they were actually putting out these opinions, if you will, to their employees. Do you want to come back into the office? Would you want to? How often would you want to? And so on. And they're making it possible, some of the better companies, I think, for employees to choose coming in, if they want to go back in all the time, if they wanted to come in back in once or twice a week, if they didn't want to come back in at all. Dorothy just actually told me about one where they did the same thing with her. Would you want to come back in once, twice a month, every other day? Not at all. She chose not at all.
No, but my cousin also, you would know him. My cousin Josh.
Yeah, sure, of course.
He's been working remotely, and they could potentially come back, but they told him, look, if you're happy to work, you're very productive, you're great. So you want to keep working remotely, work remotely, for an indefinite period. You're doing your job, do it. And I happen to like where I work. I like the people. It's a very comfortable space where I am. I would be perfectly happy coming in 2 days a week, maybe 3. Because I think I would lose my mind if I was just home working all the time alone. And,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So 2 or 3 days a week there, 3-day weekend, 1 or 2 days working from home. I think I would be even happier with work because I'm pretty satisfied where I work right now. But it would still be a better life for me. I get more of my own things done if I had 1 extra day a week to me. And then there'd be 1 day where I just wouldn't have to schlep into work and worry about it and just do all my work from here. I don't have that option. But I see that as that would be a very fair thing for me that I would like. So
the work that I do, I would love for them to make it possible if there was enough of a work crew that you could split up time. If you turned it into a 4-day work week, instead of being an 8 or 8.5 hour day, turn it into a 10 or 11-hour day, because for most of us, that's not a big deal. Really isn't. And just do it. It's not hard. It's really not difficult once you're already there. And putting that in and just doing a 4-day work week. So you still put the same amount of time and you do it in 4 days. And then what you do is you have one crew that works Monday through Thursday and the next crew works Tuesday through Friday. And that way each group, you don't have a loss of work productivity, but at the same time, you give people that extra day because to get to a doctor, to go and do those different things that need doing, Saturday and Sunday just doesn't work so well.
Yeah.
And then you change vacation time requirements.
No, for me, I think a lot of people 10 or 11-hour days, especially if you don't love your job, you have a pretty active job, and that time goes pretty quick. But if you're in an office situation, I think after a 10-hour day, you would absolutely need the day off just because you have no life. Then Monday
What's a life?
Thursday, you've got nothing.
I don't have a life. You have a life.
If you come in at like 8 in the morning and you're leaving at 7:30, you're just going home. You're eating. You're watching TV until 9, and then you have no life during the week then. Whereas if after 8 hours, you still, at least in summer months when it's still light out, you feel like there's some variation in your week up until the weekend. I don't know.
I will tell you, when I was working in the investment banks and doing the IT work there, I worked an average of 12 hours a day, and I was on call for executive support and so on. And so there were times, I remember when I was working at Merrill Lynch, I actually went through 3 seasons and didn't see the sun because I got to work when it was dark and I left after it was dark.
What kind of life?
And by the time,
but you may have loved your job. So,
Well, I was appreciative of my job. It was, and, and I worked with some great people, and I was busy, but there was I was married, and when did I see my wife? I came home, I said hi, and I got back up at 5 a.m. and went back to work.
that's not a life.
And no, but I spent a lot of years doing that. I mean, I did that from somewhere in the 90s through 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And and it is as it is.
I mean, we all do it, and we do it when we're younger.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Sure.
If I had a matinee, if I had a play on Broadway, I would get to the theater at 10 in the morning and
there you go.
the actors and then stay until 10. I don't care. I'd be like, yeah, and who wants to go out for drinks after? I actually, I'm not into that. But after the show was over, I'd stay and talk to anybody who wants to come backstage, and then, go home and like, I got to get back to the theater tomorrow morning. That's different,
Right. Absolutely. So again, and for each person, it must be an individual choice. I mean, obviously job requirement as it is, but now is the perfect opportunity before they send everybody back into work, because the technology is there to allow people to work via remote. Those people who can do it, right? Personality wise, the job requirements, those things, like our cousin Josh and so on. Those people who can do it and who are self-motivated, they should, because it has benefits all around. For those people who, like yourself, staying at home would make you go stir crazy, you should be going into the office. And if they could balance that, it would be wonderful, right? For those of us like me, and for nurses, doctors, blah, 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 firemen, police officers.
Absolutely.
Everybody. Yeah. Well, hey, that's going into multiple spaces. We won't talk about that.
Well, they can build computers where there's a special hole.
Easy killer. That please. That sounds like Minecraft. I mean, just
mine shaft, more like it. We've been talking with my cousin Adam Glass. Adam, it's been real good to see you. I'm gonna kind of get to Colorado Limericks of the Damned and finish up the show because it's after noon already. But this has been fun. Please keep calling back and joining us on Dave's Gone By on our Saturday mornings. I may need your help in an upcoming Today Yesterday quiz if you're up for that. I will let you.
Well, I'm always good to be the foil because I constantly lose, even when I'm playing via remote and just trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, if you're playing against David Sheward, you're inevitably foiled.
Yeah, it's like walking in as the victim. So
yes.
Right. So the Red Bull
Theater Company. Try their first or just webpage, redbulltheater.com.
Yes.
If you can't find it from there, go to their Facebook page. And then click on that first thing you see, it'll be my play. It'll take you to the YouTube page where they're just running my play.
Well, that's where I'm going. So I'm going as soon as we get off the line.
Adam Glass, good to see you, my friend. Happy summer to you. Talk to you again real soon.
Take good care. Be well.
You too. Okay,
Bye-bye.
Adam Glass, ladies and gentlemen, in the Daverhood on this Saturday afternoon. July 17th, 2020. So much fun when he calls in to talk to my cousin Adam. I have two cousins, Adam, so I always have to sort of put his last name on the back end of that. But Adam Glass in the Daverhood with us. So, so cool that he's a friend of the Daverhood, that Leslie Hoban Blake, the theater critic, is a friend of the Daverhood, that David Sheward, the theater critic, blogger, and high school teacher, is also a friend. And now Ann Greyson, Amazing Grace, is a friend too. Go buy her books. The Lonely Vampire. Coming soon, Gotham Kitty, as well as Never Dead. Do check them out. Plus, don't forget Rabbi Saul Solomon, friend of the Daverhood. His website is shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalomdammit.com. This is the place where you can see all the interviews that he does for the show. You can also listen to and read his rabbinical reflections, his mini sermons. You can watch the episodes of the TV show that he did about a decade ago on cable TV, plus his one-person, two-man show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, when he played off-Broadway many years ago. All of this stuff is on his website, shalomdammit.com. Do give that a look. Those are just some of the friends of the Daverhood. We have more Friends of the Daverhood, ladies and gentlemen, among them, the people that we just mentioned, plus folks who've been on the show in years past. What are they up to? For example, today or tonight at City Winery in New York, David Bromberg. So if you've never seen David Bromberg in concert, people, all these musical people who've been on the show, they're going back to making music in person again. So yay. If you're at City Winery, if you're in Manhattan, go see David Bromberg tonight. And then tomorrow, let's say you're not a New Yorker, you're a Long Islander, in Amagansett at the Stephen Talk House, Bromberg will be doing the same kind of concert. So either today in Manhattan or tomorrow in Amagansett, David Bromberg. Playing now through tomorrow, online for the Westport Country Playhouse, Michael Gotch's play Tiny House. And by the way, David Sheward, who was in our Today Yesterday quiz, he gave it a positive review online. So go see this play, Michael Gotch's Tiny House. Playing now through next week. Oh, no, sorry. Not playing now through next week. On July 24th. So let's see. 19, 20, 22, 23. Well, it's next Saturday, but I'll do it early. Vicky Cooperman is going to be at Don't Tell Mama with her comedy show. She's a stand-up comedian. Loves a joke. Don't Tell Mama, Vicky Cooperman next Saturday. Playing now through the end of the month at the Soho Playhouse, Todd Robbins doing his Haunt Quest. Todd Robbins is one of those carny people who drives nails through his nose and swallows light bulbs. Now he's doing the history of hauntings. It's Todd Robbins' Haunt Quest at the Soho Playhouse. Go see it. It's playing all through the month of July. Also playing through whenever, Jim Caruso's cast party every Monday night at Birdland. Yes, Birdland is back. For more information and tickets, go to birdlandjazz.com. You've got Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano. They still post videos of them doing songs from the Great American Songbooks and show tunes, Comstock and Fasano, on their YouTube page. StageBuddy.com, which is owned and operated by our friend Evan Seplow. DrDemento.com with new and old Dr. Demento shows, DrDemento.com. SoundsOfBroadway.com. If you want to hear show tunes 24/7 on the web, soundsofbroadway.com, put together by our friend Stuart Brown. And if you go and join the website, he does a really cool quiz every week. 10 questions all about musical theater. And it's great because some are simple and some are really tricky. Check it out, soundsofbroadway.com. Want to remind you also, Mondays at 8. I don't know if it's every Monday or every other Monday at 8. Jamie DeRoy and Friends on Spectrum TV. Jamie DeRoy is a fairly major Broadway and off-Broadway producer, but she also loves cabaret, and she has a show where she has cabaret performances. It's Jamie DeRoy and Friends on Spectrum TV, Monday nights at 8. And of course, Bob Cudmore doing podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. Those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to and watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and what else? Before we get to our Colorado Limerick and close up the show, we've had good luck so far. We haven't really talked about this, but we did buy 2 or 3 weeks ago a little baby air fryer. And we didn't know what to make of it. I was like, I don't know. I've seen these things on QVC and HLN for years and years. We finally bit the bullet, and we got, oh boy, the Tasty Crisp air fryer.
It's my Dash. Yeah.
75%. It's DoorDash. It's a Dashy thing. Complete with recipe guide and even drawings of food in case you're not sure, in case you can't read words. You've got onion, drumstick, salt. That may be a potato or it may be a peanut, and then P for, if you're a very small person and you have to leave P for the doctor, you put it in one of those containers. But it's healthier fried food. How can you beat it? Fried food.
Tell them what you made.
So we tried it. We tried it like a week and a half ago with two different things. We made Brussels sprouts. And if you have to eat Brussels sprouts, you might as well fry them. We took them out a little too early, so they were a little too chewy. Should have left them in for another minute or two. But you thought they came out pretty good. Joyce rather liked them. I liked the part because we put a little bit of oil on them. And with the part where they get kind of blackened and crispy, that's good. The middle part, but the outside blackened part, I'll eat that. That was pretty nice. So, although it is kind of a little weird that in an air fryer, to make things really taste good, you do have to put on a little oil, which seems counterintuitive, but at least you're not like dunking French fries into a giant bucket of oil. You're just kind of lightly drizzling some oil on them to make them crisp up a little bit more. I made a steak in the air fryer. A nice big steak I got that was on sale at the supermarket. Small fryer, so I cut it in half and did one piece at a time, and it came out wonderfully. A fried steak. We're not talking about a little flank steak. This was a nice, juicy piece, and boy, oh boy, that was a pleasant surprise. It's not as fast, I guess, as what cooks really fast, like a pressure cooker or something like that. But
instead of frying with oil, it uses air. That's
yeah. So it's a dry. It's not like putting it in a microwave where it becomes tough and it goes from raw red to brown instantly. This, you can take it, you can open it up, you can look at it. My only negatives on this thing is it's a little small. We probably should have gotten like a 3-quart one instead of 2.5. And also the timer is weird. It's a strange thing where you can set the timer, but you can't unset it. It's like once it's going, you can't turn it back without breaking it. It's like, okay, 8 minutes. It's going to do its 8 minutes no matter what I do to it. But you can open it up while it's ticking. I don't know why the timer's like that.
This is a simple one. Like, we could get a fancy one that has, like, programming, but I didn't want something fancy. This is, like, no-brainer. Put it in, set the timer.
Yeah. No, the annoying part is also that all the recipes that you get, a lot of them say preheat. Like, get the thing to 380 degrees and then put the stuff in.
Put it on for, like, 2 minutes or a minute and get it warm.
Yeah. But it doesn't take into consideration what temperature it is or that you preheat something.
I think that it suits our needs. We're not like, the chef.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if so far, so good. I did a duck breast in it, and I overcooked it a little bit, but it was still really, really good. Because I threw it in there, I kept checking, little too red, left it 2 minutes, a little too brown. Can't go backwards with these things. But it still came out really well, and you had, and don't tell potato. Happily, we don't have a potato guesting on the show today.
They were delicious.
Yeah.
You put yours in duck oil.
I air fried potato. Joyce cut them up into not even like shoestrings, just like little bits, basically. And boy, oh boy, we happened to do it after the duck fat was in the fryer, and drizzled a little bit more oil on it, and man, those were nice. It's definitely a different flavor from just doing them in like a toaster oven or the microwave, or I do potatoes a lot in the crock pot, and they're perfectly fine, but it doesn't give you that fry feeling. This did. This is that rare. It's like, this is as close to French fry as I'm going to get, unless I go out and get French fries somewhere. So far, I got to give like an A-.
We paid 39, what, 30 bucks?
Yeah, it was $40. $40 for this thing. It came with I don't have that with me, but it came with a recipe book.
That's something.
It came with a Get Cookin' from DoorDash. Oh, there's a thing. Hello, Foodie! With a pineapple on it. Oh, no, that's gonna be. What is this?
I don't know.
Oh, they just say if you're happy with your purchase, leave a review. And if you're happy with the purchase, leave your review. And then they have some ideas on what you can make in your fryer, like soup. What?
No.
Who would make soup in a fryer?
Soup? Read that.
No, it was
That's a joke.
some of the imagery. No, there you go. Pancakes, you could. You actually could make pancakes. Oh, but except that does not look like an air fryer. I think this is all their different products, quite honestly. Yeah, because if I would not really want to fry a margarita. And that would be a rather difficult thing to do. But thank you for what a good idea to get this, because because as much as I love my my crock pot, which I got like a year or two ago, as much as that's been sort of a godsend in certain things, it is a pain in the balls. You don't have to watch. I mean, you could leave the house. That's great. Turn it on. Go to work. Don't worry about it. Come back, and it goes to warm.
They're for different deals.
Yeah. But cleaning a crock pot is what a pain in the ass.
You have the liners. Why don't you use the liners?
I should, because that'll help. Because when I make a crock pot, it's usually for a duck or something that's oily and greasy. So you can't just spill it down the sink because it'll clog up the sink. You can't put it in the garbage because then you get oil all over the garbage. It'll leak out when you're trying to take out the garbage. You can try and bring it to the toilet, spill that down. Then you've still got to bring the crock pot back to the sink, rinse it out a bit, then put it in the washing machine. It's one of the, as my mom would say, she's like, I'll stick with the oven. Thank you. It's self-cleaning. I put something in, it cooks. I don't worry about it. You sit there, you're clean, you're mucking out the thing. You've got to spill the oil. All right, whatever. The crock pot is kind of nice because it does have to be cleaned, but it's so small that you just take out the little platter. You rinse that off. You have the inner thing. You rinse that out, and it's a bit simpler. Anywho, so far, recommendation. I'm going to make another steak this weekend. We have more Brussels sprouts that we can make.
You never tried chicken. It's big with chicken.
Yeah, I haven't bought the chicken yet.
It's supposed to be big with chicken wings. Everything's chicken wing.
Yeah, I was looking for chicken wings on sale at the market. They weren't on sale, so next time they are, I'm going to buy them. I'll bread them. I have panko crumbs.
Oh, that'll be good.
So yeah,
If
Dave the
anybody has
foodie.
any recipes, they could send it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, folks, let's make this interactive. Over the course of the week, I always say, hey, if you have any comments or suggestions about the show, you want to leave me any messages, you can do that right here on the Facebook page, or direct message me if you're a friend on Facebook, or just email me, davesgoneby@aol.com. But feel free, if you have recipes for fryer stuff, if you've tried the things that I'm making in the fryer, and you had different experiences with them or suggestions, let me know. If you've seen my play, please, I'm gathering good reviews. If you hated the show, just go watch something else. But if you liked Restoration Playhouse, drop me a line. Let me know if I can quote you, because I'm collecting all the quotes about my show for promotional purposes if I need them. So please go see it, and please let me know what you thought. That would be terrific. Let me know what you thought about my conversation with my cousin Adam about this idea of where you can work. He's good.
His kids okay?
His kid's doing really, really well. She's planning already. She's already thinking about her next college year. 4 weeks away, man. Late July or mid-July.
August 23rd is my start date.
Yeah.
One more canvas shell, and I did advising yesterday.
Yeah, Joyce shouldn't even be working over the summer for her, and she's still doing stuff for.
Well, advising, because kids need, the students need support. I mean, it's been, as much as we think it's a rough year for us, we're fully formed, adults.
Well, speak for yourself.
For people going through, developmental changes and being, younger, it's been very hard for a lot of people. Imagine living through a pandemic and trying to figure out where you're going to work, what your life will be like. I mean, it's a little bit more scary.
Yeah. Imagine you were a freshman in college and your first year was from home.
Yeah.
And now suddenly your sophomore year is going to be, living in a dorm, navigating lunch and dinner and friends and boyfriends, girlfriends, which most people get out of the way when they're freshmen. And then they can concentrate on.
Hard. I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, where am I going to do my practicum? Where am I going to get a job? Like, I understand that fear. So I think my feeling is, both you and I was supported very strongly throughout my career by people who helped me, advisors and mentors. So my generativity is to give back. That's why I have mentees and advisees and.
See, I have degenerativity. I have helped me. People enable me to be a degenerate, which is why I do this program.
You're a good man.
Dave's gone by.
If you were a bad man, your play would not be 3.8 K.
3,800 viewers for my play, ladies and gentlemen. And that's kind of really cool because there were about 1,000 people who watched The
Oh, really? How did you know that?
I remember it being 800 and something, so I figured by now there were like 1,000 people who watched the entire festival, either live or in the days succeeding it. But for Red Bull's post and sharing, I guess, of my play, they said it's like 3.7 or 8K.
Now, I gotta go into the Red Bull.
Doesn't mean everybody watched it to the end. It doesn't mean everybody liked
Dude,
it.
it's like 10 minutes. I mean,
Still, hey, how many videos have you watched on YouTube that are 3 minutes long and you turn them off after 20 seconds? You know, there's no guarantee. But at least watch the first. No, watch all of mine. It's good. It's good. It's called Restoration Playhouse, and you can see it still if you go to the Red Bull Theater Facebook page and click for their YouTube link, or
but on YouTube it says the YouTube link's unavailable, but it's still
on their which page? Homepage or Facebook page?
I linked it in the discussion. I just can't click on it and make it bigger. This makes me. What am I doing wrong?
No, nothing. It's just it's Facebook being Facebooky. That's what it is. That's what it does. Well, what we do here, because it's 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern time here in the Daverhood.
3.8 thousand views.
3.8, yeah. 3,800 people listen to my play. I told Joyce earlier in the week, that's more people, I think, that have ever seen or read anything else I've ever done.
That's like a third of people who lived in the town in Greeley, right? Or
is it really?
No, 10. No. But in some boroughs.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it. Now, if you gather all the people who watch this program week after week after week, yeah, it's tens of thousands. But if you talk about just someone who went to see my play, who went to see Shalom Dammit, which I wrote with Rabbi Saul, who saw one act that I did at the Richmond Shepherd Theater, or Love Creek, who saw Candide when that was done in Los Angeles. I mean, if you any one of those, or maybe if you put them all together, none of them had 3.8.
Sweet potato. Yes.
Let's save this. I'll do the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and then to get the sour taste out of everybody's mouth.
Yes. Death and birth.
I just showed our address here, but look at that. Look at that.
It's not our address.
I'll bet you can guess what this is. So, let's get through. First of all, before we get through the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, let me thank so much the fine, wonderful folks at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. Since the mid-1970s, the Toron family has owned and operated the franchise of Minuteman in the heart of Hewlett, Long Island. They're like 2.5 blocks from the train station and the post office. They're right in the same, what do you call it, strip mall.
Are you okay?
That they've been in, yeah, since the mid-70s, and they do quality work. So, for example, Ann Greyson was our guest in the Daverhood. Let's see what they do with the letter G. They do gifts, gift certificates, gift stationery, baskets.
Are you okay?
Oh my God. Say hi to the people.
Do you want seltzer? Here, take seltzer.
I got seltzer in my bag.
Finish this, drink this water.
Yeah. Pardon me, folks. I just went through 3.5 hours, no problem.
I almost killed myself off the
Oh.
That's your water now, baby. Drink it, yeah. You just need to drink it. Good.
Like mother's milk to me. Thank you, Ann.
If your mother was a seal.
Hewlett Minuteman Press. So, we were doing the letter G for Grayson. Golf tee signs, graduation accessories, graduation announcements, and graphic artists on staff. So if you're sending out also, if you need business cards, holiday and wedding invitations, cards for people, banners, balloons, if it's to help your business, Hewlett Minuteman Press can do it. They're great people to work with. Their prices are reasonable. They do good, quick turnaround times. Everything you need. It's the one-stop shop for all your printing needs. And also, like if you have a sports team and you need silk screening, or your company needs uniforms. Well, they can take like a patch or logo, or instead of just having a green uniform, it's got the name of the company on it, or an image or a design. Nice. Hewlett Minuteman Press can help you do that too. 516-569-5577. And if you tell them Dave sent you, you get 10% off any job, big or small. Give them a call. 516-569-5577. 5577 Hewlett Minuteman Press. They are the copy kings. And by the way, go to their website also, hewlettminuteman.com. Well, yeah, we do have a special bit of excitement to end the show with. But until then, the opposite of excitement, the opposite of joy and delight, is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. This is because living in Colorado, I got it into my head to write a short poem about every possible big city, small town, little hick burg that I could think of. Like I could literally get out of a website of a list of Colorado towns or a map. And there's hundreds of these things. Who knew? Some of them lend themselves very easily to poetry. Some do not. I'm trying as many as I can. So over the past couple of years now, I've written more than 160 of these sons of bitches, and I've been sharing them one a week, week after week, right here on the program. So last week, we were supposed to do La Junta. La Junta, Junta. Unfortunately, towards the end of the program, we got word that Joyce's parents had a little, very, very, thank God, minor accident. So we ended the show a little early, and La Junta had to wait. So now I've made you wait a whole 7 days for this poem that lasts about 10 seconds. I apologize for that. I know it's been very difficult for you to hold off, to have that anticipation, to be expecting this limerick last Saturday at around this time, and to have it denied from you, like the fox and the grapes, right? Pulled from you at the last minute. But your patience will now be rewarded because, ladies and gentlemen, in this week's Colorado Limerick of the Damned, we go to La Junta.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Oh, yes, my friends. Yes, indeed, it is. Rocky Mountain, we get high doing these poems about places in Colorado. La Junta. People pronounce it all different ways. It should probably be La Junta, but like everything else, when Coloradans get a hold of a name, it's like Hunt, more like it. Art is on the Arkansas River Valley, and there are 5 amazing experiences that you can do that are connected to La Junta, or in La Junta, Colorado. One, I'm sure you won't want to miss this, the annual tarantula migration to southeastern Colorado. Yes, you can go to a certain place and watch tens of thousands of spiders crawl down Colorado. How do we miss that? How do we not see that when we were living in northern Colorado?
I want to freak out. That's too freaky.
Now, they're also known for farm fresh produce, including melons. Who knew? Who knew? And they're not Carnegie melons either. They're actual yummy melons.
Carnegie melon, I don't think it's not one of the 7 sisters or 8 sisters.
I wouldn't figure that Colorado would have that because that takes so much water. I would be surprised. I thought it would be more of a southern thing, but yeah. And then there are a bunch of old forts that used to be done for fur trading. Those are still there.
Did you call me an old fart?
No, yeah. That was the old fort at play. And then the Comanche National Grassland and Vogel Canyon are also in La Junta, Colorado. Vogel, V-O-G-E-L, Vogel Canyon.
Or is that a thing?
It's a canyon named Vogel. Probably named by a German person or something like that. And this makes me very happy, in La Junta, Colorado, 50 plus years old, the Picket Wire Players Community Theater.
Ooh.
So yay. So if I ever move back to Colorado, that's a place that I could get involved in a community theater.
Yes.
And make it my own. And they would do Restoration Playhouse every morning, every morning. Force people to show up. It's sort of like Perfect Crime. All right. Are you ready for this week's Colorado Limerick?
I'm not ready.
All about La Junta.
Did I mention I'm not ready?
Well, ready or not, here it comes. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. An NFL fan from La Junta will do anything that you wanta. She gave her vagina to each 49er except for the safety and punta. Please send your comments and complaints to Dave's Gone By at AOL. That's her with the 49ers. Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. And remember, by the way, I haven't even had a chance to mention that, yes, you can read my writings and my song lyrics and my plays and reviews at davelefkowitz.org, but davesgoneby.com is the place for all our archives. When this show is finished and rendered and saved, we'll put it up there with more than 800 others for free at davesgoneby.com. Plus, we put our archives at archive.org. It's a nonprofit website. We're not connected to it, but we're very proud to put our show up there. It's archive.org. Plus, we put our audio archives at castbox.fm, a place for people who just want to listen to podcasts. Castbox.fm. We have a YouTube channel where almost all of our stuff is, although some of it is muted for copyright whatevers. If you scroll back on our Facebook page where you're watching right now, you can see the last 4 years of our video shows, although our previous archives are not there. And finally, Monday early mornings at 1 a.m. and Tuesdays early morning at 4 a.m. if you're in Nassau County and you have Altice cable television, hey, you can watch a 1 hour excerpt. I don't know why I said that. A 1 hour excerpt of the show. So it's completely random. It's not really the way we want you watching this program. But hey, if you're in front of a TV instead of your computer, flipping channels, there I am, 1 to 2 a.m. on Mondays and then 4 to 5 a.m. on Tuesdays on Channel 20 on the Altice cable provider here in Nassau County, Long Island. So there you go. That's just about the show here on this Saturday, July 17th. Except, I think we have a new friend of the neighborhood because we thanked so much Ann Greyson, David Sheward, Leslie Blake, Rabbi Saul Solomon, my wonderful wife Joyce. But I think we may have a new friend entering the neighborhood. Let's take a look, shall we? We shall. It's being born, honey. Behold. It's going to come out of its egg. Oh, this is so exciting. This is exciting for me. It probably means nothing to any of you. But if you know how I feel about these fellas. Going to open the bubble wrap. I should really do it on camera. I don't know why I'm not. There we go. Oh, it's a breech birth, I think. Ow! Dada? New Dada? Yes, Potato, I'm new daddy. Look at him, a brand old vintage potato from 1996. He's a toy box collection of Spuds. There he is. He's got his little ass tag. He's got his ribbon. It's a blue ribbon. It's not the pink one. Ooh. He's got the darting little soft eyes that are kind of like boobs. He's got sort of an askew mouth and face. So you can tell this is a Thursday afternoon potato. You can tell in the factory, they were thinking about the end of the week already when they made them. But he's still... What do you think of our new potato, hon?
I like him.
She likes him. Yeah, he's very tightly packed. Look at that. Yeah, I've been working out. Really? What do you do? I do crunches. Watch.
That's not good, honey.
I do Russian twists. Das Vidanya, Das Vidanya, Das Vidanya, Das Vidanya. I can do pull-ups. Here, use this potato. Okay, see if you can climb over the bar. Okay, that's enough. I need water. Okay, here we go.
Honey.
What? Yes, brand new potato in the Daverhood. This has been my week. Good food in an air fryer, my one-act play, A Hit, at the Red Bull Theater Festival, the Short New Play Festival. A Brand New Potato. What else happened? There were other good... Your parents were fine after their accident, right? Have to say, my aunt is home after having a hip replacement, and she's doing fine. I could be completely back to shit next week. But of all the weeks of this year so far, and like the past year or 2 or 3, this has been one of the better ones. And it's always good to do this show and to have so many people watching and wishing me well. Please go watch Restoration Playhouse. It's still on the Red Bull Theater Facebook page. They have a link. It still works. Please read my play at davelefkowitz.org. And please tune in next Saturday, July 25th, for the 808th edition. I can't wait for 808 of Dave's Gone By. I'll see you then. Make it a fine, a restorative week. And thank you again to all the folks at Red Bull as I vamp and find the music that I need. Thanks again to Nathan. Thank you again so much to Jesse and to all the actors and to director Timothy Douglas.
And the tech and all the tech behind the scenes people who made it look seamless.
And when in the fall, if the show gets picked up and you see Zach Appleman on a TV show, you can watch the TV show. I don't wish him ill, but you can shake your fist and go, you went for that TV money. Oh, shame on you. And gone by.
Days gone by.